Welcome to Bristol Motor Speedway here tonight for the full length Cup Series. Haven't been back here in a while. They were going to do the race last weekend, but I actually went to that race, so they decided to push it back to this week. Going to pull up the starting grid here. First will be Derek Heitman, second Ryan Jones, third Robert Miller, fourth Johnny Avila, fifth Cody Porter, sixth Joseph, need to figure out his last name again, seventh Bobby Anderson, eighth Matt Long, ninth Patrick Gitter, 10th Clayton Hoffman, 11th Paul Hill, 12th Matt Luciani, 13th Dustin Hall, 14th Lucas Hoetzema, 15th Nolan Hodgson, 16th Stephen Wilson, 17th Adam Benefield, 18th Neil Parsons, 19th Bryson Hicksenbog, 20th Hunter Cruel, 21st Kyle Amon, 22nd Chad Sanner, 23rd Kobe Stent, 24th Corey Cook, 25th Stoney Benefield, 26th Carl Dotson, 27th Jonathan Delaney, and 28th is Dakota Knoll. We will pull in one of these, drivers here. To see who's in the Discord for them. To begin with, I gotta make sure they're even in there. Let's start with Kyle Amon here. Let's drag him in, make sure my Discord's unmuted. Hey Kyle, this is Bryce and Matt in the booth. Got a copy, man?
Yeah.
Man, so where are you rolling off tonight? You are rolling off, let me see here. You're rolling off 21st. Now, how do you feel about your chances here at Bristol, knowing that this is a really, really long race, and sometimes it can just come down to just don't wreck your car here.
Yeah, you gotta preserve the tires a little bit. It's a long race, 500 laps. You gotta be here at the end to make a run at it. So that's our whole goal. Uh, we're just a bunch of little guys here, working on this thing, and we'll see what happens. 500 laps, long time around this joint.
All right, man, well, I'll let you go, but hopefully I see you in victory lane here at the end of it, man.
We'll give it a run.
It's Kyle Amon, the driver of the 17, but it's stamped as 6. Let me make sure my paints are loading correctly. Yes, they are, so I might have to refresh my paints on that. Who else can we bring in? That's a little bit... Oatsma, we've done him before. Hunter Troll. No, he's not. No, maybe. He isn't. And I don't think Chad Sanner's been in here. We'll bring him. Hey, Chad, this is Bryce and Matt in the booth. Got a copy, man?
Yeah.
And so you're rolling off 22nd tonight. Is this your first race here also? Because I haven't saw your name before.
Yeah, first one this year.
Well, so how do you think this race will go for you overall, though, man? Because it seemed like running this track, at least nobody did get to really have a lot of green flag laps. When I ran it in the open, it seemed like it was a bottom dominant track. But how do you think you'll do here tonight at Bristol, knowing that this is going to be a really, really long race?
I honestly don't know, man. I'm just trying to stay in there till the end, not cause any issues, and just, keep it on the track.
Right,
and however it goes, it goes.
All right, man. Well, I will let you go, but good luck to you, man, in your first race here.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Thanks for the interview.
Chad Sanner, the driver of the 23 machine. They have actually 3 seconds but they go green here, so let me pull that off of there, show the drivers again. That is not what it should be. Should be driver's style here in a minute. There it goes. Wait for them all to grid here, so you'll see no cars will be up on track. We'll be stuck to this view. There they go. They're going to load into the session now. Again, 500 laps here, race info. 500 laps, 9 sets of tires, no fast repair. Stage 1, 125. Stage 2, lap 250 for them. So they have a long way to go here in this race. It's going to be a lot of saving your tires, not getting in too deep, not getting in too deep, and just being gentle with them, really. You don't want to go in there and cook them. There's more people that are now loading in here. There they go. Wait for more of them to load, and we will get their paints are reset here in a minute. a lot of cars on this track. It's also trying to load a lot of different things. I'm also trying a little bit of a different streaming format. I bumped up the quality to 1440p, see if it'll do something else for me. Hopefully it will. I don't know if it will or not. We're going to find out this stream, though. But I'll give them a paint refresh now, so their paints will go white, and will pop in with their paint scheme here. So they do have a paint scheme. Do not freak out. It's just taking a little bit to load. Drivers already shoving each other. We got the 10 of Miller getting a little bit of a shove from, might be Porter from behind him. Simrig.com, the 11 up there up top, outside of Heitman. Get the green flag here soon. 500 laps. When I ran it, I said open. I meant to say fixed. The bottom was the dominant lane. You really didn't want to get up top, because if you did, it just cooked that right front and made it really, really, really tight. So it just, I wouldn't be running the top at all.
Yeah, the top, probably an area on the racetrack you're going to want to avoid, especially over the long run. Like you said, you'll cook that that right rear, that Dr. Feelgood back there, and once you do that, that car is going to be a handful until you have an opportunity to come down pit road and put a new set of tires on that car.
Yeah, you can make them last, but once you start cooking them, there's really no way to cool them down, just because of how much banking there is at this track. Waiting for the pace car to pull off here still. They've already got 3 laps under caution. I'm a little bit confused here what's taking so long on pacing.
Yeah, I was wondering about that myself. I actually went ahead and refreshed the graphics on my side just to make sure I was seeing that correctly. Perhaps they just want to make sure everyone's in order. There we go. Pace car is going to pull off there, boss.
Heitman will lead them to green, and the green flag is in the air. We are underway here. Heitman leads them down into 1 and 2 here. He gets a good bite on the bottom. See if the 11 can get a run on the outside. He's going to not really fight too hard. Heitman's just going to stick to the bottom, and I'd be doing the exact same thing as Heitman here. I would not want to be up in that top line.
Yeah, not the preferred spot, but Jones is trying to make it work now as we focus in on Paul Hill there in the 26 machine. The Dead Slayer, man, always really good here. However, if you guys are coming over from the S&N series, Paul Hill going to be in the 6 machine tonight. However, Timing and Scorum has him listed in the 26. Have to take note of that. Go on board with Matt DiCiani. Looking out the back of his race car in Bryce. Check out the fury out there on the racetrack. Only working lap 4, and these guys still out there, or are already out there dogfighting. 98 machine making a move there. Stephen Williams on the high side.
These guys are going to be fighting pretty hard. They'll all probably rotate down to the bottom. I don't think the top line will come in very well. I mean, you can maybe use it to pass, but get right back down as soon as you can. Just running the top line. It's not a super viable option. I would be more concerned about that right front again, as that 11 is going to try to get to the outside here, and I don't think you can really loosen it up to get the turn that you need, but he's going to get a big shot down the back stretch here.
He was able to get a big run generated up there on the top shelf, able to get around Derek Heitman, your pole sitter. But Bryce, to your point, we've seen him run a handful of laps now up top. In fact, he was the fastest driver out there on the racetrack, ran a 14:41. But is he going to pay the premium over the course of this run with that right rear? We're going to have to keep an eye on that. 91 ride there. Carl Dodson coming over from the Stacy Strong Cup Series as well. You can see him working up top as he's going up against the 1 machine, Dustin Hall, working the bottom.
You'll have to see if he's not really getting super far up. These guys can enter. It really depends on where you want to enter. You don't have to enter right up against the wall. You can run down a little bit from it. You can run it right up next to it. It just depends on how your car's handling, if it wants to get tight throughout the run. These guys can make changes as it is an open set, as we have the 54 and the 4 going at it for position. The 54 is going to get a pretty big run off that top line with the Liquid Death sponsor on that car there. He might get a run on Gitter here too, as he will, as Gitter's not really able to get up off the corner, trying to keep it on that low line. He might have saw the 54 coming too and decided, hey, let's just go ahead and keep it down here so I don't get absolutely derailed in the rear end from him.
Yeah, that's a great point. You know, as you mentioned, top of the broadcast, this is a very long, almost like an endurance race. A lot of these seasoned veterans, like Patrick Gitter, the 54, Hunter, these drivers know that you cannot win this lap on lap one. You have to have a race car that survives to be alive here at the end. So a lot of these guys probably right now just trying to trim some of the fat off the board here, talking about the amount of laps remaining before they really start to turn up the intensity. Is the 54 here, though, making moves early, able to get around the 92 there of Hoffman, already up 10 spots, Bryce. In fact, he's cracked the top 10.
Yeah, him and Carl are the biggest movers. Carl is up 17 positions from where he started, so he's really got that car tuned up on that high line. I just want to see how it would react a little bit later on, if it will decide to get tighter, if it gets looser. It'd be hard to get it looser just being up there. So I'd want to be right around the bottom, but you don't want to be entering too shallow. Really hard to drive this track. You're trying to kind of get the car to rotate in the middle of the corner, but if you get back to the throttle too early, it just plows out of it. So you're right on the edge the whole entire time with these cars. You're just trying to see how much you can play with it to get it to work.
Yeah, that's right. And, you know, plenty of time to test the waters here, as, you know, 500 laps the distance here tonight. You know, and this next-gen car really so hypersensitive to those tire temperatures. You know, as you mentioned, you ain't entering the corner too shallow, or on the other side, you rip the top a little too hard. You get those tire temperatures up, that car will be a handful. However, the guy that has a rocket ship here in the early going, Ryan Jones, in fact, he's now jumped up to almost a 1 second advantage over your pole sitter, Derek Heitman, as he has the car to beat here in the early going, that Chevrolet Camaro out in front.
I want to see how that lead stands, because looking at his lap times, 2/10, about almost the same, but he's 14.8. Everyone is 14.7, so he might have gone in there a little bit too hard. I'm kind of looking at his line. He's not really exactly on the bottom of the track where I'd want to be. He's running up a little bit high, so I think he's using that right front to turn coming through the middle of the corner, and it's kind of hurting him a little bit. Actually, let's go on board. Looks like right there he's not getting the turn that he wants. It's kind of, he's having to wait a little bit longer to do it. It looks like he's leaning on that right front just to get something to work for him, so I think he's hurting it a little bit more than he would like to.
Yeah, I'll agree with you on there. And a lot of times, you know, that in-car view right there, that really tells the story, and I think you hit the nail right on the head. You know, in the words of Larry McReynolds, he used to say, 500 laps, there's going to be a lot of comers and goers in this race. This track, it's not asphalt, it's concrete. The way it takes rubber's different, so we're going to have to see who has the right formula for success here. When it comes down to the end, ooh, it looked like Bobby Anderson had his hands full there. We were just kind of scrolling through the field, now locking on to Adam Benefield there in that 21st position. Bryce, he's lost a couple spots here in the early going, but that could be part of his plan here tonight. Just, you know, run the race. Don't be the caution. Stay out of the mayhem on the racetrack. And as always, hashtag Jimmy Strong on the side of his race car. Great looking paint scheme on the 83 tonight.
Got some guys, they do have a chance to fix the car when that stage break will happen. However, you can see how much of a difference traffic is. These leaders up here running 14.8s. The guys that are stuck back here running 15s, 14.9s. They're really bottled up behind each other. They're just trying to deal with everybody being in a different braking zone, different everything. You're trying to judge it off of people around you, not to mess up your whole lap time pretty much. And also the air isn't too much of a factor here, but it'll mess you up still.
Yeah, it certainly can. That's a great point. Matt Long there, Johnny Avila, Hunter True, up 15 positions, second biggest mover of the race. Carl Dodson now up 22 positions in that 94 machine. He has really come from the next county over already. Working the high side of the racetrack there. You can see him now closing in on the 10 of Robert Miller. Bryce able to make that pass. That will punch him inside a podium position there as the 91 caught a little piece of the wall there.
Looks like he's been the only guy that's really been dedicated to running the wall the whole entire time. He hasn't gone down low. He's stuck in that higher line. Hasn't ran the bottom for almost any laps that I've saw if he does it this lap. Yeah, he goes straight to the top. He doesn't even think about it. He doesn't even give him a chance to say, hey, I'm going to fake you out. I'm just going to go straight to it, and you want to try to block it. But Miller's giving him the line, too. He's not really racing him too hard. We have the 86 of Joseph here. He's lost only 2 positions, not doing too bad of a job. Who's that below him? That is Bill. Oh, Bobby Anderson looks like he got a little bit loose coming off the corner. Shot down the apron there, and he saved it.
Yeah, great heads-up recovery there from Bobby Anderson. The main machine out there on the racetrack. You're right, that was a big-time moment for the driver of the 18. But if you blink, you missed it. Able to charge on here. However, there comes the 98 challenging on the high side of the racetrack. You know, and to your point, Bryce, you know, this being an open setup race, I know on the fixed side of things, you know, you're absolutely right. You did not want to run the top of the racetrack. That was disastrous. But because these drivers, you know, have the ability to tune the setup on these race cars, some of these guys could have it dialed in for the top.
The only thing I can think of, if they can only make really major changes during the pit stop, on the only thing you can make during the race is the brake bias, but even the brake bias is a huge change for them. But they could have set it up to where it'll be a little bit tight, and it will go to loose, and then going to loose, you'll actually benefit from running that higher line because you're not having to put so much wheel into it. But we'll just have to see. I don't have their setups, so it's pretty much a big guess at this point to what they've done to it. Sorry about that, y'all. I do not know what happened. It just said, hey, I don't want to work for you anymore. So my PC just said, I'm just going to freeze. And everything just froze up on it straight up. So again, that is my bad, but it looks like I've got that fixture. Hopefully right now I'm going to have to fix the overlay again, but these guys are back to green flag racing here. So if I do go quiet for just a little bit, that is because I'm fixing all of these settings, and Matt is still the same room name as last time too, just so you know.
Thank you, boss. And while you're fixing that here, I can carry the torch for us, as Bryce said. Back green flag racing here from the last great Coliseum, Bristol Motor Speedway. 60 laps now written in the history books of the scheduled 500. And picking right up to where we last off, trench World War II fair style warfare out there on the racetrack. And Bobby Anderson right back in the thick of things. 97 working all over the back of Anderson, really dialing up the excitometer inside the cockpit of that dark horse Ford Mustang. Those two drivers continue to work the bottom. As soon as I say that, the 97 thought about going to the bottom there of the racetrack, and he hesitates, however, does now commit to the bottom, as now he's going up against the Ford machine there. Cody Porter having a really strong run inside the top 10 here. He slings it really hard on the bottom, eating good in the neighborhood, just like Applebee's, man. In fact, he may be trying to take the 18 to Applebee's, but he can't do that. All kinds of traffic all over this racetrack. Remember, when you're 28 cars deep around a 1 mile racetrack, it gets awful congested out there, like the 95 around Washington, D.C. in peak rush hour traffic. That's what a lot of these drivers are facing right now. Ryan Jones continues to run away with this thing. In fact, I say run away in the aspect, you know, the reference to he's basically led almost all of the laps out here tonight. Derek Heitman, your pole sitter, led for a couple, and it's been all Ryan Jones since then. Talking about the fast man in town right now, a 14:33 goes to Hunter True. They're in that second place position, who is up 18 positions from where he started. In fact, now he's battling the 54 for that lead right now as we speak. We're going to keep the battle focused right here, just outside the top 10 in that 11th place position.
Right now, I'm just trying to get a overlay to pull up. The normal one will not want to pull up, so I'm having to probably get the local one to show instead here if that one will work. Yeah, that'll plug this one in here, and we'll have an overlay back again. I'm sorry about that. I literally don't know what happened. The PC just froze. I've never had it do that with this new RAM stick, so hopefully my RAM's not going bad. It shouldn't be going bad. There it is. So we got a overlay back. Let me resize that thing, because that's about to blow up off the freaking screen. Let me put that to 400 pixels, I believe. Let me put that back to 400. Go back to 400. Looks like there was a caution while I was gone, Matt. Can you tell me what happened there?
Yes, sir. There was a caution out there on the racetrack, and unfortunately, I didn't have a chance to see it when we lost you. It kind of froze up on my end, and once I was able to get the race back going on my side here locally, they had already had the pace car out on the racetrack and reshuffled the deck. However, we did have one caution for incident. And folks at home, for you guys listening, a lot of different pieces of software, right, Bryce, have to work together in unison to make these broadcasts successful. And sometimes one little hiccup or glitch can absolutely just sink the whole thing. So I appreciate you and all your hard work on your end to get this thing back up and running. You know, and outside of that, folks, a lot of people throughout, across America, especially here in the state of Florida, through the south, up into the Tennessee Valley, all affected by a major hurricane just a couple of days ago. And Bryce, this morning, we didn't even know if you're going to be able to be up here in the broadcast booth. You didn't have any power, going over to the grocery store, just charging your phone so we could communicate. And just so thankful you're back here, got your power back on, your utilities restored at your house. And it's been a couple rough days for a lot of us here, especially in the southeast.
Yeah, the town that really I live in a town that doesn't have a high school, but I went to high school in another one, and it's basically called it's called Trail Town USA is one of its nicknames, and that town flooded and it absolutely ruined the whole entire town. I mean, there's sinkholes everywhere. Every single building basically on Main Street it's toast. I mean, it's billions of dollars in damage, and it's super small town. When I say super small, I mean, people may think I came from the city. No, I didn't. So when I say super small, I mean it's a small place, but it was absolutely just covered in water. They live right next to a river. People lost their houses. There's cars being swallowed by sinkholes everywhere. I mean, everything's just it's really bad where that is. Luckily, my house is not near a river, so I did not have to deal with that. We just had some trees hit the power lines, and they came and removed them, and then they were completely fine after that. But I did not know if I was going to be here or not. They didn't fix it until really 6 or 7.
Early, talk about cutting it close there, but appreciate you scrambling and all your hard work on your end to be able to work with me here tonight up in the broadcast booth. Always a pleasure here on Ghost Racing Network, especially when you have such great racing on the racetrack. Full-length Cup Challenge always puts on a great show. 66 machine Toby Stent there, holding on to that top 15 in that 15th place position, up 8 positions from where he started. Kind of working this place right now like Mark Martin used to. You see he's giving himself a little bit of a margin there over that Death Wish machine right in front of him there. Kind of what you want to do if you're able to do that out in the racetrack. In fact, some of these drivers now starting to get single file here, ripping the conveyor belt, if you will.
It looks
Steve
like
Williams in that 90. Go ahead.
But maybe in that wreck, Gitter, Hall, and DiCiani were all caught up in it because they're all a lap down. That's the only thing I can think of that would have happened to them to cause them to be in the position that they are, because they were 28th, 27th, and 26th.
26, right? They were in close quarters right when I lost the stream, so that is a good possibility.
We'll have to see. Again, I can't see that because we're ended up kicking me out, but I believe that's most likely what happened to him. I'm checking some other stuff. Yeah, that's good. So But Dodson, he's still up 20 positions from where he started. Terrell, he is up 19. Jones is back where he qualified. Miller's where he qualified. Villa's where he qualified. Some guys working their way up through the pack. Others just kind of deciding, hey, let's just settle down right here, and I think I'll be fine. I won't have to really worry too much about it for them. Some of them have decided, it looks like.
Yeah, they certainly have. And again, just as we say that, the 97 Hotsuma now challenges the 91 here for position. In fact, almost thinking about taking it 3 wide. There was Dotson. Then you've seen him bail out of it. He knows 3 wide here at Bristol typically doesn't end very well. Now it looks like the 91's going to lift there. Top side of the racetrack. Going to give the 98 the position there. You know, Bryce, you can see them racing hard, but when it comes down to it, you can also see the give and take out there on the racetrack. You know, that's one of the keys to having a successful race and keeping your car in this competition until you get down to the end when it really matters.
I think I can hear them. Hold on. Can I for some reason, I can hear them. No, my voice chat, that might be leaking through your headset then. I could have swore I was hearing somebody talk. It may just be yours that I can hear. But it looks like they've caught lap traffic up here. The 54 has. He's trying to go around the 78. 78 can be a pain to pass. He can't get around him. It's going to hold him up. And that 78 running this line is only going to pinch off this 54 on X2. He's going to be losing lots of time here as we coming to 100 laps here again. Stage at lap 125. Keep that in mind, 125. And then 250 is their next stage that they will have. See how it will go for them.
Tell you what, it's going well for Hunter up here in the 54 machine. He now carries the torch here at Bristol, up 19 positions from where he started. Ryan Jones in the mix there as well. He's in the 11 machine. One of the drivers that we've seen really committed to the top side of the racetrack in the early going. Just as I say that, he kind of goes back up high, but kind of arcing that corner in, especially on the exit coming off the corner there.
I was going to say, while we were kind of talking about that, Miller did get past Jones for the second position. So we'll just have to see if Jones can go and, or if Miller can go chase down Terrell. Looks like he is, and we got a caution on the track here. Heitman has looped it. I don't think he has hit the wall. If he did, it's very minimal contact. Just a little bit. Loops it around. Holds it down. He actually honestly could have kept it rolling there, but he decided to just lock it down. No harm, no foul. Foul there with doing that.
Yeah, no harm, no foul, locking it down. Last thing you want to do is come back across the racetrack there and catch someone else, an innocent bystander, if you will. But nonetheless, this is going to be the second caution for incident. We apologize for missing the first one, as we had to get the broadcast stream restabilized. And looking at that replay, I think the pole sitter there of Heitman may have had a little help when he looped it around there. You now see the that death wish, or that death, liquid death. There we go. Finally get it right coming off of pit road there in the 54.
Looks like he is the only driver that's going to come down pit road, too. It's a little confusing to me to see him do that, being the only guy. He about misses his pit stall, too. He has to jump in there immediately.
Yeah, a lot of times here at Bristol, especially if you have a pit box that's right after that commitment cone, you got to be up and ready for it, easy to blow by, and that's exactly what happened there. He had to hook it in that pit box. He made it in there last second. Service completed. He's down and away, and the last thing you want to do is get busted here for speeding. As he now brings that Chevrolet ZL1 Camaro back out onto the racetrack. 100 laps officially now in the books. Let's see where that's going to put the 54. Looks like he's going to come out of there 22nd position on the scoring pylon here in the Kobin James 500.
Just got to keep in mind that there is a stage at lap 125. So keep that in mind there for that. Also probably going to plug this link here. I was meant to do this. This is for somebody's parents who had lost their house and they're doing a GoFundMe. And there's actually a video of their house being flat out washed away. Yeah, it was. In this area, we don't have, you know, that many natural disaster stuff. That's not even going to work. I need to find a link to share this.
I think y'all should
That
take
won't
each
work.
other's ass.
No, there we go. I can probably share it with this. So I'm going to pin this link in the chat. Anything that y'all want to donate, it can go. It goes right to them. But Damascus is really struggling. That's where it is. Basically, I just got to say Damascus, Virginia. You can look up videos. People have videos of it. It's just the river next to the town probably rose a good 20 feet from all the rain. Just wiped out the whole town pretty much.
A lot of those times, you know, those smaller towns don't get the media coverage or the support that they need. And really great to see that we're able to help the cause here on Ghost Racing Network as that pace car pulls off. Miller going to have the trigger here, and he's going to let it rip. Tater Chip, Cletus McFarland style, back to green flag racing here at the last great Coliseum. 63, wow, he got a really good restart there as he sends it back up to the high side of the racetrack in that Whiskey Guy Plus machine, throwing it back to the Intimidator. Man in black, Dale Earnhardt Sr., of course, in that Camry. So weird to see that paint scheme about a Toyota every time. That just blows my mind, but still, great-looking race car. Lucas Hotsema there, he is side by side. In fact, now, single file, just as I say that, going to go up to the high side of the racetrack there. Has plenty of company, the 74, right there with the, or what, the 04, excuse me. That's going to be Cody Porter now looking to take a peek inside.
He was the person who got into Heitman. I've had a friend decide to join me on my desk every time I put her down. She'll jump up here anyway. So you hear me trying to move my face around, my cat's shoving her tail in my face. So excuse that here. And we got another caution. Dakota Knoll apparently has gone around. Where is his name at? I cannot find his name. There it is. The 50 cat. Stop moving my microphone. 53 has gone around. Get out my face.
My cat will do the same things that time. You know, it's almost like they want attention and they know they're not getting it, so they up the ante here. As we go back to the GRN instant replay here, going to go on board with the 55, or excuse me, we're going to keep it outside.
I'm trying to get a good view of it. It's like what I think he's trying to do is he's trying to keep it off Heitman. He doesn't know how far Heitman is, and it gets the rear end to start going down the track, and he just overcorrects right into Benefield, and there's really nothing that Benefield could do there. But I wish I had a better cat. I'm getting off my desk here. Excuse me for a minute. Get off my desk. So cockpit, you can't see it. If he's running triples, he can see it, but I'm only broadcasting this on a single. So right there, he just loses the front end and he just tries to chase it, and he chased it a little bit too much and just came around on him. That might work to. Where did he get up to? Where's he at? He didn't gain many positions. He's only up one. I was gonna say that might help him though on tires, possibly.
I was kind of thinking the same thing there, Bryce. The fact that he came down pit road there not very long ago, being currently scored in that 20th position. But you're right. This could play into his favor. Remember, first caution, or excuse me, not caution, first stage here going to be, I believe 120 is going to be the mark for that. And we're just about a little more than 10 laps shy as we're now working lap 109, third caution for incident on the evening.
Here, and we're also going to see if I can put a video up of it. Because I'm a little bit... Cat! Get off my desk. Oh my gosh, you have a cat trying to go lay on. Quit getting up here. No matter what I do, she'll just jump up here. She doesn't want to be pet 90% of the time. You're getting on my nerves now. Okay, quit it. So, yeah, I don't think these guys up here are pitted. I can't see who pitted on the very first caution because my PC was decided to just be stupid to itself. So we will have to see how it works for them. They are only going 15. No, they'll be going 13 laps here to the end. So,
So
not be long
right now,
for him.
not to cut you off, everybody inside the top 20, so first through 19th on the racetrack, all came down there on lap 55.
55. So, trying to think about how the tire wear was during the week. I don't think it was too egregious. I'm not really sure. I mean, they're only going 14 laps this time.
Yeah,
So
just a quick stint here.
Let's see. So what Truel could do is he could just roll around here really slow, stay on the lead lap, just don't burn up your tires, and stay out when they come back down pit road here, as the pace car will pull in here, and the green flag is back in the air. We are back underway here.
Green flag back in the air here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Miller getting a great restart. He's going to shoot out in front over the 63 Avila. They're in that P2 position. In fact, the first three cars, Miller, Avila, Jones, single file. First side-by-side action there. Gonna be the 62 machine. Neil Pearson, the modern-day Silver Fox, working the bottom, going up against Hotsema on the high side of the racetrack. That's going to be for that 5th place position.
A lot of these guys are kind of starting to fall in line with each other now. You would want to be pushing. Well, you might want to lay off here and start pushing a little bit harder as it goes on into this run. I think 5 laps, and you go 5 laps hard, because it cooks the right front really hard. If you get in the corner a certain way and you start sliding that right front, you'll get maybe 2 good laps out of it. So I'd be wanting to kind of be a little bit iffy around it. Ooh, got guys in the wall. I think the 28 might have been wall riding there, but not wall riding, but wall riding at the same time.
Sometimes when you get caught in the fence there, this racetrack will just kind of suck you in and keep you up there in the fence. You really have to put some wheel in it to get that car off of the wall. Ooh, the 17 there just bumped the 92 a little bit of Hoffman getting into the corner. That was an ugly spot for that to happen. There's the 12 Nolan Hodson having a great run here, up 5 spots from where he started in that 10th place position. A lot of congestion right here on the racetrack, and you can see the intensity starting to dial up. Bryce is being ready to close out stage 1.
Hicks and Bog is just going where they aren't. He's literally just saying, hey, they're on the high line. No one's on the bottom. I'm just going to go where you guys aren't. I'm not going to have to be worrying about they're all getting stacked up behind each other. I'm just going to go where there's clean air. And he's making it work for him, too.
And sometimes that's not always easier said than done. But, hey, if you can make your car work like that, especially at a racetrack like Bristol, you're going to be in great shape. And look how he was able to clear that mess there. Now as he goes up against Cody Porter there in the 04 machine. Coder's going to stay up high. We got that 6-speed gear shifter on the hood of that race car. Love the paint scheme on the 4 route.
These guys will hopefully save the manuals. I drive a manual, so of course I'm somebody who's saying, hey, let's keep the manuals going. Even though it's a little Subaru.
Not to change the subject here, but I feel like you have so much more control over the car with a manual transmission versus a Tiptronic automatic DCT. Manual is my favorite. It'll always be that way, and I agree with you 100%. Hashtag save the manuals.
Yeah, the only thing I can't do with my car is where they've set the transmission wall. You can't heel toe, and that gas pedal is also put further back than the brake, so you can't heel toe in that car. But I've kind of gotten around that to where you can somewhat heel toe in it, where I can at least rev match it and get back on the brake very quickly. But you saw that big bobble from the 63, and that is the stage break here. So these guys will go down pit road, get 4 tires and fuel, get these things off, see how their tire wear is. That is loud. Get a good photo, good photo of the tires. That'll work close enough to it.
Yeah, were you upset with me, or was that an actual thing?
Is that your
stage 1?
I think that is. Yeah, I was gonna say it's not annoying. It's just I couldn't tell if that was my headset or yours, but that's that's yours that I'm hearing it through. It's not that big of a deal at all. That I was curious. I was like, I can hear somebody talking in that.
Is it you coming back through my headset, or is it?
It's their radio chatters coming through. I was just wondering what it was. I was like, do I have them unmuted? Because I know I keep them muted during the race because I don't use this one to race
what's
anymore.
strange? I have actually have their radio chatter muted as well, and I thought maybe it was coming through your side.
I don't know what
But,
it's coming through. Then it's coming through something.
I'm getting bits and pieces of it every now and there, and it's weird. You're absolutely right. Is Miller is going to lead the charge down pit road? Is now this place, the hottest place here in Bristol, Tennessee. Everyone coming down for service on their race cars.
Hunter did exactly what I thought he would. Stayed out. So did Dotson, who pitted on lap 99. Let's see these guys get in and off of pit road here shortly. I also need to go to studio mode so I can add a...
Tell you what, Bryce, you're a race whisperer. You called that one a mile away, and that's exactly what he did.
Yeah, I had a feeling he was going to do that. I was like, I got a huge feeling that he's going to stay out here and just not run it hard. Because he was running, what was he running last time? That's not the right lap. It says 36, but that was because they're a different pit stop. And looks like the 3 will win that race off pit road. That is a, wow, that's a pro racer.
Getting it done in the pits.
Oh, whoa, hold on. He comes back down.
Okay.
That's odd. Did he miss his pits? I think he missed his pit box. I've done that before. That's the only thing I can think of is that he missed his pit box. That is odd to see him come back down, but Hunter will get the lead here. Also going to show you all some photos of what I was talking about earlier. So you'll see that. We'll go to the full screen. That is the town here of Damascus. You can see it's completely, this is a little bit of a, this is more zoomed out one. You can see that this is not supposed to be like this. This is a river right here. It's supposed to run. It's decided to flood this whole town. This is more footage of the town. See, there is more footage of it also somewhere else. There was aerial footage here somewhere. This is the house that was swept away. That is loud too. Let me mute that. See, it's completely gone. And I can. That's what that donation will go to. As you can see, it's not where it's supposed to be now. But enough of that. I will get more footage later when we have some downtime in the race here. These guys are about to go green. See how well the 54 and the 91 can hold these two off, if they can hold them off. That is, I think they'll have a good chance. What is that coming from? Right. As the green flag,
I'm very confused.
Yeah, as the green flag is in the air, we are back underway here. I'm genuinely confused where that sound is coming from, because I don't have any radio chatter.
What? Yeah, I'm disabled too, and yet I'll hear it come through every now and then. Is green flag back in the air at the last great call of system, Thunder Valley. Hunter gonna jump out to a pretty sizable lead, and Bryce sometimes cautions, precautions. Oh, and the 04 goes around. We go back now to the GRN instant replay. Looks to take a P Thunder.
Oh, hold on. Wait, okay, so if you remember earlier,
right,
Heitman went off the bumper of the 04. I think this is Heitman's trying to block him, and Porter's not having any of it. We'll see. Heitman, he definitely pinched him down here. I don't think he wrecked him, but he definitely pinched him down. Let's go on board with Heitman. Let's go. This will give me a little bit better view. Yeah, I think Heitman pinched him down there on purpose.
Yeah, it seemed like he put a little extra emphasis on getting that 76 a little further down the racetrack. And shots fired here at Bristol. You know, this racetrack is so good at squeezing out emotion, the tempers, just all the mental side of things, let alone the racing on the racetrack. This place will absolutely test you. Is clearly Heitman's madder than a Keebler elf that got demoted to Fudge Packer right now on the racetrack about an incident that happened earlier. But how about Hunter, man? He did a heck of a job there on that restart, Bryce. Now he's going to have to do it all over again as Carl Dodson is breathing down his neck there in second.
Sorry, I'm trying to... Sorry, there we go. So, Heitman, I don't think that will be anything big. We do have some guys coming down pit road. See the 4, looks like he's got some damage right now. He might be trying to get that fixed. Heitman's still sitting down here, the 83. Hunter, he will get the green flag back here. Excuse me. 54.91. The biggest mover is the 94. Just stamped the 91 this race. No idea why. Why? No idea why he is, but...
There's actually a couple cars out that in the field, like Dodson. I believe Chad Sander is another one. Timing and scoring has him as the 23. However, excuse me, nope, that's the 6 of Paul Hill. Is the 26 timing and scoring, however, stamped the 6 out there on the racetrack. However, as Bryce was saying, Dodson has really just chewed his way through the field. Gonna restart in that Camaro on the outside lane here. Hunter's going to have to do it all over again and going up against stiff competition. If Dodson's not enough, he has Paul Hill working on the inside line just behind him in that Dent Slayer machine. That pace car is going to pull off. 54 is going to have the button, and another great restart there as he kind of faked out Dodson there, able to squirt away just again already. A half a second differential is Truel fires down into the turns 3 and 4 complex.
See, he'll go back down there. He has clear air, not having to deal with anyone being behind or being in front of him. To see how these tires will pay out for him. At least in the 97, he's already up into the high line pretty much automatically. See how well this will go for him. It's 86 and 68. Looking at these two right now.
Drivers
got a caution out. Whoa, oh Lord, this is parking lot.
This is the type of wreck that you really worry about, and you said it, parking lot there on the racetrack. Let's go back to the replay to find out what the carnage is here. And I believe the 76 may have been involved in this one too, Bryce.
Cody, I don't know why you're hitting on the caution. I was on the brake. Look at the out of the corner.
Yeah, I think iRacing's update has messed up the sound. Because I can hear them talking. The only reason I knew there was a caution was because I could hear them say caution, caution, caution. So it looks like the 17 of Amon, who we talked to before the race began, gets loose, tries to save it, ends up looping it, and it's just on from there. The whole track is just completely blocked. The Heitman can't stop. Yeah, that was a cluster of cars.
Yeah, I take that back. Heitman was nowhere near a part of what being set there. He's just an innocent bystander. Could not get that car woe down. Oh, and that 3 Delaney, he's got pug face on the front of that Camaro. It is all bashed in. 21 of Gitter just aborted big time. He was coming down pit road, just turned it back onto the racetrack as the 3 parks it now on pit road. That team going to go to work to repair the damage on that Camaro.
Never had any problem.
Yeah, that is a destroyed front end. That is really beat in. He's got to hope that it's only going to hurt the look of it, not the turn. Because if it hurts the turn, that's not going to be good for him at all.
Take care of it after the race. Just shut up.
I'm chuckling here because the race chat is bleeding over, and it's really starting to pop off in there. It is getting lively.
Yeah, I don't know if y'all can hear that. I have I think my radio chatter's down a little bit. You can definitely hear him though. And I don't know why we can hear him either. Because it's completely off. I've
double checked mine twice. I don't have it on anywhere, and yet we can somehow, some way, still hear it.
Yeah, that is not
I think you're
good.
right. That update may have messed something up here with the sound settings, and that's allowing that perhaps to potentially bleed over into the broadcast as well.
I said on lighter news, I hate you, Robert. Too fast.
Trying to hear this
Ladies and
conversation.
gentlemen, I will be right back. My alarm on my generator is going off, so I got to go throw some more fuel in that thing. I'll be back momentarily.
Well, while Matt is doing that, we're trying to play detective here and listen to this conversation more than anything else. Now, I don't know why we can hear it. It has to be this update has messed with something really badly. That's the only thing it could be. I don't know why it would do that though, but they evidently went too far on something and then just messed up a lot. But again, Matt is running off of generator power right now, so hopefully he gets more power than that. Hopefully it's a diesel. Apparently diesel is a little bit more fuel efficient than gas. I almost rented a diesel generator because I was like, you know, I'm tired of this. I'm done with it. Can't deal with it anymore. As you see, pace car will be getting ready to pull in here. I still don't know why I can hear this. As it does, as the starter will have the flag in his hand, and the green flag is in the air. We are underway here. That was a flag that should have been thrown, but we are back racing here. See the 94. This race goes back down to the bottom. The 63 is right behind him, trying to get the 91 up off the bottom. Maybe? I don't know what he's doing. He's just kind of riding that middle lane. Still riding it. Still riding it. The 97 looks like he might have gotten into the wall just a tad there. 43 or the 26 just ran the fastest lap of the race. 14:30. Oh my gosh, I'm watching the Alabama coach absolutely blow up on the sideline here. This is a Mark Martin inspired paint scheme. That looks like it's the Valvoline, but the colors were just changed is all. Doomslayer looks like that's what the car looks like there. That was actually, and I'll wait till Matt gets back so we can kind of bounce this off of each other. The 92 of Lucas Holtzman looks like he's got some left front damage on that car. Looks like it's been smashed in a little bit. Looks like Sanner and Williams are out. DeCiani, who are people that are lapped down. So Hall, Heitman, Delaney, and DeCiani are all lapped. So Heitman just couldn't stop in time. He was already on the brakes, just trying to slow down. And it just said, hey, I'm just going to keep sliding and going straight for you. Something that just happens every now and then. You cannot do anything about that when it starts to slide. How am I getting this? See the 54 just continuing to ride that line there.
You're good.
we are hearing more radio chatter from them, so I don't know why. I can't mute it because it is already muted, which is a little bit weird. See the 86, he's going to go up into that high line. Joseph there, trying to rim ride it. He's getting up pretty close. He's getting up near the marbles.
Yeah, that's a great point. All that rubber, that'll wash up the racetrack, and it'll settle right up there almost against the wall. You get your tires up in there, that car will get really wicked on you. Cody Porter here continues to have his hands full. See a little bit of damage still remaining on the front, particularly on that splitter of that Dark Horse Ford Mustang as he runs an 11. Sometimes between a car length and a half behind. Carl Dotson there in that 10th place position.
I was going back from now as I was actually at this race last week. I had bought tickets using my college, get tickets at a discount being a college student, and my manager called, or the manager at my work called me and said, hey, you want tickets to go to the race? And I was like, sure, thinking, okay, what are these tickets going to be? And the tickets that I did have, they were going to be, the entry of turn 3, like 34 rows up, and then the tickets that I got from my manager, because I work for Food City part-time, and he gets tickets, but he wasn't going to go. And he said, he called me and said, hey, you want these? So I took them, and they ended up being start-finish line tickets, row 19, and we got to see Larson win also, and I made some very bad financial choices spending money on diecast while I was there, but I won a $350 bet also, so it was a pretty good race for me overall, being a Larson fan.
Yeah, for sure. That was one of more of his dominating performances, maybe the most dominating performance of his career. He led a lot of laps there. Not sure exactly how many he led, but I know it was a ton. And tickets at Bristol at the start-finish line, those are really hard to come by. So hopefully you had a great time. And hey, man, you want to bet on top of it. So it sounds like a win-win all the way around there.
Yeah, it definitely was a good race. I'll tell you what, that was, we went to the spring race also because we got tickets for free. But going to that race, and I was looking at the crowd, my dad pointed out, there's a lot of people here, and we were like, yeah, there really is. I mean, I'm pretty sure that could be considered a sold-out crowd at Bristol. I mean, it was a lot of people were in those stands, so it was cool to see that, even though it was honestly kind of a boring race, for being completely honest with you. There wasn't that much tire fall off, but
yeah, if you compare that to the spring race, I mean, there was tire woes. I mean, that was the headline from the spring race, just the tire wear and really having to manage those tires. But, you know, Goodyear said they brought the same compound, but it's hard to believe because the tires just seemed like they were completely different, you know, that race last week. But still really cool you got to be there and watch Larson win. You need to focus here on this battle between the 54 and the 10. That's first and second. Hunter has it. Miller wants it now as he keeps taking a peek here to the inside. In fact, he may have the lead here sooner than later.
Yeah, kind of going back to you talked about the tire wear. You know, the spring race. One thing that I noticed, and I think about it walking out, there was not that much rubber on the outside of the track this race. Now the spring race, I mean, you could literally pick up a handful of rubber for free. There was that much rubber outside the track. This race, there really wasn't any, as the 54 almost gets in the wall trying to hold off that position from Miller. But Miller, it looks like he is able to snatch it back there. Excuse me, I mixed water, a great mix into this water, and for some reason it makes me burp half the time.
You know, you talked about rubber, and I smell like I'm fueling up cars on pit road. I had a little bit of gas outside there on accident. Tried to be quick about it.
I tell you what, I ended up getting stuck coming out of the parking that I had. We had Speedway parking because I thought, okay, there's they don't have a curb here, and I actually ended up getting stuck in my car, and it's all-wheel drive. I didn't want to burn the clutch, but trying to get out, I mean, it just smelled like pure rubber because I was burning it so bad trying to get grip, and they tried pulling me out, and I eventually said, I got in the car, and I was like, you know, I have a skid plate. I thought it was going to scrape the bottom of my car, but no, you can put the jack stands up under it. It was actually dragging on that. And I knew if I get traction anywhere, I'm going to get unstuck. So I was like, you know, screw it. I just said, I'm done with this. So I just hopped in the car, started it up, put it in reverse, and just let that thing go. And it smelled like clutch for a good 15 minutes after that in that car. And I was like, oh my gosh, it smells like rubber.
Well, hey, that's the beauty of symmetrical all-wheel drive. If you get any of those tires to bite, eventually you're gonna get free. But
Yeah.
hopefully you didn't put too much wear and tear there on the clutch. Those can be a little expensive on those cars to replace.
Well, we've already got it replaced once. When I got it retuned, it was beginning to, or when I got tuned, it was beginning to slip. Then it started slipping horribly. We got it replaced, so it's only got about 20,000 miles on it. It can also handle a lot more power than what it used to. But tell you what, it's, oh my gosh, I don't slip clutches very often, but holy crap, that was taking some life off it. But these guys have pretty much calmed down the whole entire time. I've also turned off my notifications for when people get past each other, just because that floods my whole like SDK feed. And again, like Matt said earlier, there's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes that you all don't see. You see what you're seeing on YouTube. I see timing on my left monitor, the race in my middle monitor. My right monitor has OBS that controls basically all of the screen settings that we have and deals with the streaming. And sometimes I pull up the race on my phone just to make sure that it is going correctly, because if I don't and there's an issue with it, I won't be able to tell on that at all. Looks like,
yeah, it's almost like a real life production behind the scenes, especially when you're in the producer role like you are here tonight. You know, 3-4 screens of different content, different bits and pieces of software, trying to monitor all of it to make sure you guys at home are getting the greatest viewing experience possible. Patrick Gitter, there's a guy we really haven't talked a heck of a lot about, has the Team Connie colors on his race car. That 21 machine here tonight, having a pretty clean but silent run, and sometimes that is not a bad thing here at Bristol. That means you're keeping yourself out of the mayhem on the racetrack. And one of those drivers, at least right now, really committed to the bottom, ripping that low line. He's going to get around Paul Hill in that dent slayer machine. Bobby Anderson trying to follow the 21 through.
the only thing that I'd see with the low side are these issues here. Now, late in the run, you're gonna have to keep on backing up that entry, because it's gonna start trying to slide that right front. But if you can get it to bite in the middle, that'd be really good. But it means you might be getting a little bit tight because you're burning the right front off. I would be running the bottom just because I know how to. That sounds really cocky, but I know how to run the bottom pretty efficiently. It's not like I can't get it from the high line. It's just, from my experience, it just burns it too much. So the way he's doing it, you can even see the gap that he's grown. He's grown a huge gap to the guys behind him. Ooh, I think I saw something. Oh, yeah, the 6 killed.
Oh, there goes Bobby Anderson. He gets KO'd in the 8-pillar by the 91. Little more contact there, and that's going to bring out the caution flag as it got wild on the racetrack.
I was going to say, I heard, or I saw somebody right before I switched the screen. It's not giving me a notification for a wreck here. Let me open my door really quickly for my cat.
Bobby and I obviously had nowhere to go when I came here.
There we go. Okay, we won't have to deal with her anymore, hopefully. But I did see something flash by my screen here. That's a little bit too far forward. See the 6 here. 6 is going to...
Straight up, had no clue where you were there.
Where he is.
Sorry.
The 6, what is he this race? Well, let's go from here. So this
would be Paul Hill.
So Paul looks like he gets a little bit of a bump from the 12. So we'll go from Paul Hill, and he is actually the 26 this race. So it looks like the 12 is behind him. Gives him a bump, gets him loose, and he overcorrects into the wall. That probably kills his steering. And looks like Bobby's trying to get around him. He gets just clipped by the 6 and the 91 of Dotson, who was doing really good the whole entire night, just has nowhere to go, and that sucks for him. And Hill is innocent bystander, too.
That's what we call getting Bristol right there. Just, unfortunately, the wrong place at the wrong time there for Bobby Anderson. Big-time damage suffered on his race car. We follow the 10 of Miller onto pit road, currently getting service on that race car. Looks like 4 tires, 2 Kansas Sunoco Racing Fuel. You see the jack going up there on the driver's side. He is down and away. There's the 63 Avala having a good run there. He's currently being scored in that 3rd place position.
Looks like
Stoney Benfield.
I'm gonna say we're looking at him because it put him as the lead. It looks like he must have been a car that was 1 lap down there for him to be put on the lead, but we'll pull in. Did Dustin hit? Yes, he did. He took. That's Robert. See, is Robert in one of these? Is he in one of these? Let's pull him in. There he is. Altix Express. Hey, Robert, this is Matt and Bryson Booth. Got a copy, man?
I got you.
Man, so you're with the lead right now. You know, how has the race gone for you overall, though, and how do you think your car's handling right now?
It's come to us now. The start to race, rather, kind of the track evolved in a way I wasn't prepared for, and none of us really was on the team, and so we adjusted, and then it's come back to us again.
And so, what have you seen so far, you know, race-wise here at this track? Do you see like the bottom line being dominant, top line being dominant, or is it pretty much just changes throughout the whole entire run?
It kind of changes. It kind of doesn't. Like the bottom line is good for about a lap or two, then you start having to move up just to maintain position, momentum. That's really what it's all about, just momentum and keeping your speed up.
All right, man. Well, I will let you go because this is such a short track. You're already getting ready to take green, but hopefully I will see you in victory lane, man.
Thank you.
That was Robert Miller, the driver of the 10 car there. Why is stuff bleeding through this headset? I heard Discord go off too. I don't know what's going on with this. This is just weird at this point. But getting ready to take the green flag is Miller and Avila. As the green flag is in the air, we are underway here. Avila looks like he gets a pretty good jump on that outside. Robert not able to get away from him. He's able to power through down in the corner there, not having to deal with him at all.
Yeah, he kept his foot on the hot pedal there and just able to, as you said, power away from him, give himself a little bit of breathing room. But Joseph had a really good restart there. At 10 now, almost opening up now, almost to a half second. Just as I say that, that starts reeling back the other way. Just 10ths of a second over the 86. How about Neil Pearson? The modern-day Silver Fox has worked his way into that 3rd and final podium position. Uh-oh, got problems again. Cautions breed cautions. 66 goes around Toby Stint, currently being scored in that 21st position. Let's go back to the replay, see what went wrong.
Garrett's going to get a bump from... He's probably going to get a bump from Gitter here. Or, you know, he's just going to step out on him on his own. Just loops it with no one touching him here. I don't think he made contact with the... Oh, just light contact. He'll be fine from that. Just
It could have been a case there of tires not fully being up to temperature, and those Goodyears just gave out on him.
Yeah, just pushing too hard, it looks like. Just trying to get all that he could going there, and it just did not want to give any grip.
Yeah, here at Bristol, when you push the envelope too far, it's not very forgiving, and you just saw the back of the car just lose traction. It went out to lunch, and he went and hung on for the ride. But to your point, not a lot of damage there. Minor contact with that inside safer barrier. He should be able to chug on just fine. However, this is going to slow things down once again. Miller continuing to lead here in that VRS machine. Altus Engineering there on the side.
Some guys coming down pit road. 04, the 92, 83, 117 is still down pit road at the moment also.
Yeah, Cody Porter definitely has more damage to the front of that Mustang. In fact, it almost kind of looks like a snowplow, the way that damage is on the front of that race car.
Yeah, you can see that. Just looks like it's hit the splitter, and that's also right front damage too. That's going to hurt him even more. He needs to get most of that. He got some of it fixed right there, but he's not going to be able to get all of it fixed, but he needs to get as much damage as possible fixed on that car because it's just going to hurt the turn even more. So more cautions will help him here.
And remember, you know, these drivers don't get a lot of time to fix those cars on pit road. You know, you get a matter of seconds, you know, if you're lucky. You know, and to your point, yeah, that's going to hurt that car's turn, and that'll be magnified if we do get a long green flag run and see him coming back down pit road again. Going to try to make some more repairs here to that 04 machine.
He's going to get all that he can at the moment, but it will be Miller up front. This will be one heat cycle on these tires. They got to keep that in mind. So they do not want to go and cook them off. That is not what I wanted to do. Wow, that's really awesome. Cool having to sign in to get into my work again. Oh, never mind. It worked.
Okay. You mentioned heat cycling, and you know, this new car, a lot more sensitive to heat cycling than the car of the old, at least in my opinion. And you're right, something those drivers are going to be paying attention to.
I'll have to agree with you on that. Now, one thing that I really think kind of plays into that, these tires are thinner sidewall, but they have more area to the ground than the other one. So the reason it is, as they go green, as when these cars blow out, the sidewall isn't as thick as, let's say, the Xfinity cars are. That's why they can't move when they get flats anymore, but it gives them more area on the ground, but also kind of decreases tire wear sometimes on those cars. So that kind of it's a trade-off that they have to deal with. 86 looks like he might be trying to get the lead and then settle down because he's using that high line, and Miller's giving it to him. Kind of running a middle line, making him have to wait to get back to the throttle, going back down the track.
Yeah, Ford carries the torch then to Chevrolets. As Miller continues to hold a slight advantage here over Joseph in that 86 on timing and score. It looks like he's the 98 out there on the racetrack. So he takes a peek inside, pulls it back up in line. And, you know, Bryce, under green flag conditions here, we're getting around this racetrack, at least right now, in under 15 seconds. So these laps will go by quick, fast, and in a hurry. If we're able to, you know, keep this race mean and green, it's probably what a lot of these drivers are hoping for here, but we really haven't really seen a long green flag run yet. Is now Joseph closes in a little bit closer in on Miller. See, try to get him a mirror drive right now. Look up, make a mistake, see if he can open the door. And just as I say that, here he comes. He's going to send it in on the bottom, charging hard.
I'm going to say right there, I saw where he missed it because I've done that before. Is he just got to the throttle just a little bit too early and it just got a little bit tight. He ran up a little bit higher than he should have. Now he's going to have to try to go back at the 86, and it's going to be hard to pass him on the inside. He's going to have to really saw away at it if he is going to try to pass on that inside. That is, you do not want to try to pass and then not be able to, because it's so annoying to try to do it here at this track.
Yeah, I mean, and look at that, as you said there, got into the throttle a little too soon. Now, you know, this racetrack is so rhythmic. You know, clearly the 10 there had to get out of his rhythm, and look at how much momentum it cost him. I mean, the 62 of Pearson able to sail it by on the high side, and now everyone's there. The 63 of Alla comes up, gives him a bump there in the business end of the race car. In fact, they are coming 2 rows deep. Noah's Ark situation just behind the 10.
These guys are all trying to get behind or get around this 10. This 10's holding them all up, so this will bring even more people to him. The 63 is going to try to get it on the bottom, but if he can't get this past them, he's probably going to lose more positions here because the 11 will be able to get on the outside of him, and you have that Liquid Death car coming up on the outside also here. See, this is drawing, and looks like Gitter and Cruel also are being brought back into the mix because of all of this that is happening around them.
Yeah, that's the other thing that Bristol does. You get a car that's a little bit off the pace, or especially side-by-side racing here, that's going to allow, you know, everyone that's behind you all of a sudden they're going to be right on top of you. This is the end result right here. There's a 28, the 63 wiggled there. That got scary for the whiskey guy there on the bottom of the racetrack. 28's going to work by him there on the high side. That's Manny Long having a good run here in that 5th place position. Now, Hoeksema's going to try to squeak by as we send it back up the hill. I'll tell you what, Miller is fighting hard, doing everything he can to hold on to that 3rd place position.
Y'all may, see, oh, it's just a wiggle. No, you maybe, oh, I've had that on the interstate or in snow. Well, they're having a wiggle at, let's see when they're hitting in this front stretch, hitting 40 miles an hour. And also these cars have really fast steering, and especially at these tracks, they turn that steering even faster so they can get more turn in the corner. So even a little correction can just snap that car around on you immediately. So that's why we say there's a wiggle there, because one small move can turn into absolutely just junking that car into the inside or outside wall in the matter of 2 seconds. And why iRacing, good job making an update where you mess up the audio somehow.
It's still coming through clear as day, like we have it enabled, and that's not the case.
So the 86 just still trying to keep this line as Pearson's going to go to the inside, try to get that pass done. He will. I'm sorry, 62 will try to get that pass on the inside. He won't be able to do it.
Pearson has the faster car. Not to cut you off there. He's running 14, 6.0s, 6.5s to Joseph 6.9 and 7 flat the past 2 times by. But Bryce, how many times have we said catching them is one thing, passing them is another, and now Pearson is left to figure out a way to get around that 86 machine. Oh, there's that wiggle, and just as Bryce said, it's on a fraction of an inch of going the other way, and that time it did, as he has that steering ratio cranked up to 315, overcorrected and stuffed it in the fence.
Trying to look, I can't tell if he's been driving with an offset, but I don't think he hit it hard enough to actually hurt the steering on that car. He must have been pretty close to the wall, or close enough to it. Sometimes it just depends. It's like luck of the draw if it'll break your steering or not. But again, as soon as Mac pointed out earlier, I was talking about steering. Something like that can just boom right in the wall immediately. And hopefully it doesn't hurt him too much. But I can't see any visible damage. I don't know if he's running with an offset, though, because the reason I'm saying that is because his steering wheel's to the right, and what that can do, that is positive, and that will make it... crap, I should know this. I think it makes it looser in and tighter off. But if he's knocked it in, then that's going to mess up the steering. He's fighting hard to keep the 2nd place position from Miller. Miller might have made a little bit of contact with him there, going down through the inside. I think he's hurt the steering on that car. It just doesn't look the same as it did before.
Yeah, it looks like it's just out of the racetrack now, where before that car was really running good. You see him twitching again, and I have to agree with you there, Bryce. I think he hurt the toe on that race car just a little bit. So, just as I say that, the 28 big wiggle, almost a very similar story there. As the 98, or excuse me, the 86 holding on right now, probably really would like to see a caution flag. In fact, he's going to get turned. He's going to get dumped. Multiple front runners are going to be involved as we pile up here with the big one at Bristol.
Go back and watch this whole wreck here. Go to the 86, or the 60, no, 86. Where's he at on this?
Almost feel that one coming up here in the booth.
I think his steering's hurt. He's getting loose there. I think the 28, 28's into the back of him, and then he loops in the front of the rest of the pack. The 63 has nowhere to go. 54 had nowhere to go. The 12 had nowhere to go. Hixenbach almost makes it through, and he just gets clipped there. But I think that was the result of him getting into the wall earlier, and it just hurt the steering to where I couldn't see it, but it definitely did something to that car.
Without question. You have to wonder, and again, I'm not in the race car out there on the racetrack, but, I'm the type of guy where I see if there's a guy that's clearly, not 100% in front of me, I'm going to back off him a little bit, just because, especially at a place like Bristol, It's so easy to make contact with that car in front of you, especially if he does not get in that corner right, has to lift, or just doesn't have that momentum, doesn't have that balance to drive in the race car like he did before that incident on the racetrack. Is we watch here the 62, Neil Pearson comes down on pit road. 4 tires and fuel going to be the call here. Now working the 9th caution on the evening here on Ghost Racing Network. And look who's in the lead. Nolan Hodson in the 12. A little bit of damage to the back of that race car, but that's not going to hurt him. And that Dark Horse Mustang is running good right now as he enjoys his first lead on the evening.
Yeah, he started 15th, and he is up here now. Dakota Knoll is up 25 positions. He was in an incident earlier, but it wasn't a huge incident where, let's say, went in there and just plowed through somebody. Just a little minor one there, but he has found his way back up here.
Yeah, similar story there for Stoney Benefield. He was a lap down there earlier in this race in that 78 machine. Call 811.com ride. And yet here he is, just outside of the money here in that 4th place positions, up 21 spots. In fact, if you look at all of the cars, inside the top 5 right now, all of them, well over 10 positions gained on the racetrack. You just mentioned Hodson started 15th. He's up 14th. Corey Koch up 22. Dakota Knoll 25. Stoney Benfield up 21. And Pearson up 13. Comers and goers, I mean, perfect example of that right here inside the top 5 on the racetrack right now.
I was going to show this photo there too. I don't even know what road this is, but holy crap, it is completely gone.
Definitely some scary scenes out of that part of the United States. And
wow, this is actually, I've not saw these photos. It's going up towards Mountain City. I mean, these roads are gone. That is, okay, that is horrible. I did not see that.
Especially with tropical systems, when you have all that moisture being ejected, and you get into those mountainous regions, and you have all of that additional lift, and that just squeezes everything out of the atmosphere. As we go back to green flag racing here, Hodson's going to get a good restart in the turns 1 and 2 complex on the high side of the racetrack. I'll tell you what, they are in a dogfight just behind him there. The 55 and Knoll, he's going to squeak by Pearson. But that 61 of Coke is flying on the high side, or Cook is flying on the high side of the racetrack right now.
He's trying to get to the outside. Oh, there we go, around. Oh, see. Oh my gosh, he saved that.
How did he save that race car? Oh, what a save by Pearson.
I don't think he has a rear bumper, but he's got a car.
At the fence.
Oh my gosh, that is horrible net code. I mean, I want you to look at how much of a gap there is between these two cars. That is,
you can
wow.
fit a vending machine in between there.
That is horrible net code. He somehow saves it. I think he got hit again here, but it was net code, because look at how fast his car changes here. That looks like a net code hit. And he's up. That's another net code hit. That is horrible net code. Oh my gosh. And he keeps it going. But Hotsuma crashed while we were looking at that. So let's look at Hotsuma. Just loops it on his own at steering ratios high on that car, locks it down. And yeah. That was
like you were saying earlier, Bryce. It doesn't take much for that little twitch to, become a problem, and then ultimately has to lock it down there, as that car was virtually unrecoverable. But that was probably one of the biggest net codes I've ever seen. But still, what a save there by Pearson. Is now at least the front 3 cars here are going to come down pit road. Hodson coming down pit road. There's the 55 ride of Knoll. And I believe that's the 61 of Cook as well.
Yeah, I'm just going to watch all these guys. Or some of these guys come down pit road. I would...
So the stage is on stage.
Oh, yeah, there's a stage at 2. The only reason I know is because I can hear him. So the stage is at 250 I guess this may count as a stage or not. I completely don't know, to be honest with you. I'll just have to see if this will count as one. It may count as one because it'll go past 250. Don't know again. See the 11 and the 10 up here right now. So Matt, if you can take over really quickly. My mother got home, so I gotta go make sure she doesn't need anything.
Hey, not a problem, man. Absolutely. Bryce goes takes care of that. We're under caution here on Ghost Racing Network. Want to thank everyone for joining us here for the full-length Cup challenges. They go, in the words of George Carlin, all the way here, 500 miles, 500 laps. The distance here tonight, and it has been hot, high-octane racing from the drop of the green flag. We've had everything already that Bristol can throw at you. We've had some of the intense side-by-side trench warfare racing. We've already had the Templars boiling over out there on the racetrack. We've had the software glitches. A little bit of everything thrown at us, but we continue to ride through the storm up here in the broadcast booth as those drivers do the same out there on the racetrack. I'm Matt Metler, my partner Bryce up in the booth alongside me as well, as we're now officially working lap 251 of the scheduled 500. Thinking about joining the family, it's simple. Come home to the network that brings you 6 days of high-flying, high-octane racing action. Smash the like button, ring the bell, and you'll be notified each and every time the full-length Cup Series is in action each and every time they do battle here on Ghost Racing Network. So those lights now go out on that iRacing.com pace car, and they are getting its lease payments worth out here tonight. Is this now the 10th caution for incident? Or excuse me, 9th caution for incident. Pace car pulls off. Jones is going to have the trigger here. He's going to fire early. Got these guys on the snooze button a little bit. He's able to get away from Miller, who literally slings that car up in front of Patrick Gitter in the 21. Furthest he's been up on the scoring pylon all night. Side by side, door to door here now, the 11. Remember, Jones is a rocket on these restarts in that Camaro on the high side of the racetrack. We've seen that earlier in this race from the 11. Still proven he has a lot of speed up there on the top shelf when he needs it.
All right, I was getting a mix down there as that ball was cool. Getting a mix down there. See, the 86 has some heavy front end damage, but he's still making it work with that car right now.
Yeah, he certainly is. I just wonder if you get a long run here, I think that may start to affect him. But hey, right now, no harm, no problem. That guy is just chugging right along there in 5th. Cook's car continues to come to life. The further we go into this race, working the high side of the racetrack there, almost brushed the fence there. They are not backing down here. A little John Forrest special there as they fired down the backstretch. Now the 61 is going to take that spot. So next car in line for position, going to be the 21 there of Gitter. And now here goes Joseph back to the high side. Challenge the 61 back for that spot that he just gained.
He's trying to get all that. Can't even speak right now. The positions that he lost again. So they don't have any more stages. That is all that they have. That is a horse collar tackle. So it's manual cautions or cautions that are triggered by wrecks. Excuse me. But Miller, he is out front. He has some of the fresher tires. Lap 239. The freshest, however, are currently sitting in 6th place. That is with Corey Cook behind him. See that green, white, and black 61 Chevy Camaro. Which apparently announcement for Chevy is they have taken the Camaro off of the bumper because they do not know what car model they will be basing it off of, I guess, next year. But they're going to keep, I think they're going to keep that body style, however. They're not going to change that body style up at all. Guys still just, everybody's gone back down to the bottom, so it must be later on in the run when they want to go back down, or when they want to go back up to the top. And those tires, I guess they're getting loose or something like that. That makes sense. They could really see how you can kick out the rear end. You can kick out the rear ends on this bottom line. You have to do it, you have to jab it getting out of the corner to get that right rear to burn. It'd be the only way I can think of being able to do that. These guys are all back here. This is, what is this from? This is from 8th on back. The 78, who's kind of been really quiet this whole entire race, riding back here right now currently. $168, 78, 12, 55. 55 was up there earlier. So probably that pit stop is what got him all the way back there. Miller, however, is continuing to stretch out that lead. Matt may have just, oh, PC froze. His PC froze. Yeah, he's having PC issues also. I was going to say, it got really, really quiet here. So both of us had issues where apparently just our PC said, hey, we just want to freeze up on you and do nothing that will work for you. See, these guys are going to continue. They're running 14.7s, 14.8s right now currently. So they're doing a good job of keeping their tires up under them. You don't want to go up there and cook them off. This leader, however, is going to be benefiting pretty well from everything here, though. Because he's got that clean track in front of him. Nobody's pushed him. He can really kind of honestly lay off a little bit. He can be like, you know, I can calm down a little bit, kind of cruise, go through the motions, do what I need to, and not go up there and burn it off.
However, it's easy to do that if you're not paying attention, or you don't happen to have that spotter, that crew chief in your ear reminding you as a driver. Sometimes I'm guilty of it as charged. I mean, I am premature. Ooh, that almost got interesting.
Oh, blocking there.
Big time. It almost looked like a block you'd see at Daytona. 66, I think, got it almost or got into the 61. Had to check up, and then the 98 had a big head of steam there, and then the 66 threw the block on that Camaro just behind him, and he almost got sent again.
Either he got loose and was chasing down the track, or else he meant to go down there. As I think the 86 is trying to get to his quarter panel to rattle his cage just a little bit. If y'all know what that's coming from, that's coming from Dale Earnhardt Sr. He
battled with Terry Labonte.
Yeah, battle as in dumped Terry Labonte. But we don't talk about that because he's Dale Earnhardt. Dale would have done the same thing as Dale did do it.
I'll never forget. That was one of the very few times you've seen him break character with that grin, that smile he had in victory lane when he was getting interviewed by Jerry Punch there. I remember that like it was yesterday. Here comes the 66 back. Now he's got that car back underneath him, driving good. Wiggles once, wiggles twice, almost makes contact, and then he throws it back down to the bottom. And oh, he goes around. That's going to bring out a caution flag.
Yeah, it looks like he was kind of tired of it. He's like, tired of this. Get out of my way. Done with it. As
almost deja vu all over.
He might have just looped it on his own. Didn't even get touched. Yeah, I think he saw the 86. That kind of reminds me of Harvick at the Roval when he saw Elliott behind him after he put Elliott in the wall. He wrecked himself.
Right there into heartburn turn.
See who will come down pit road here, though. These guys, sorry, they're coming down now. So that looks like everybody... Nope, Heitman's going to stay out here. And he's going to assume the lead instead.
Been a bumpy road for Heitman, your pole sitter. Ever since he kind of got shuffled out of the lead, it's been intense for him out there on the racetrack. Remember, he went around once, then had a little bit of a heated moment out there on the racetrack. It has not been an easy going for him, but sometimes the best way to keep yourself out of the mayhem here at Bristol, especially, on a restart, we don't have that lap traffic, is to be out there commanding this field, and that's exactly what he's going to do, as he did not come down pit road, so he's going to take the lead under caution here, working lap 286 of the scheduled 500.
So looks like car behind him will be Miller. We'll probably see more people get damage fixed here. Tell you what, and if y'all haven't been to Bristol, really any short tracks in general, honestly, now I haven't been to a bigger track. I think the biggest track I've been to was Richmond. Short tracks are a track you can see all the action, which I think is good. You go to these 1.5 miles, the mile tracks. The action's not really right up on you. So, I mean, Bristol's definitely a track you got to go to if you're going to go to one. It's just cool overall just to be there. Like these guys will probably get the green in 2 laps here, hopefully.
To your point, I have not had a chance to make it to Bristol, but that's certainly on my list of tracks to make it to. They call it the last great Coliseum because it looks just like a Coliseum. Seating, as far as the eye can see, all the way around this racetrack. No place on earth quite like the experience you get here at Bristol.
Make sure that is coming through. Okay, it's not too quiet. It is still quiet here. Let me boost this audio up even more. I didn't think to change my audio. I don't stream in a while, so when I do have the chance to stream, I don't really pay much attention to it.
Yeah, I feel like there's a common denominator here.
I feel like there's a common denominator here is what he just said. So I guess somebody's being a wrecking ball tonight or something like that. It has to be something around that. As the pace car will pull in here and the green flag is back in the air. We are back underway here. Heitman gets with the jump as looks like a little bit of a block there. Heitman tried to throw on Miller. Miller, however, is saying, hey, I'm just going to put that nose down in there and hope it sticks. And it did, as Joseph is also following him through. Heitman has about 40 lap older tires as he is just getting swallowed up here. They are just blowing on by him. Lord. Oh, Lord. Luckily, he doesn't get turned there. I thought he was going to get turned for a second. That was getting really, really close.
When you talk about the tire fall off, I mean, Heitman is no slouch. He's a fast race car. And he looks like he's got 200 horsepower less than everyone else out there in competition. As he is now falling from the lead all the way back to that 12th place position. and I don't think it's stabilized yet. Ooh, wiggle. He said that was close. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I can hear, but it's really, really quiet. That's what I noticed. But I think I probably have it turned down a lot anyway to begin with. See the 86. He's trying to work his way back up. For the 04, looks like he's got all of his damage fixed on that front end. And they don't have a fast repair. And what a fast repair is in iRacing, let's see, you go on there and you total the car, the wheels to the right, like 720 degrees. You go in there, pop a fast repair, and it's like you have a completely new car for you. They don't have those. They have to do all that damage fixed manually.
You don't have that joker up your sleeve. Should it all go wrong for you, like Bryce said, you have to fix. You have to rule and just fix all that damage in the pits when you get the opportunity to. However, these drivers, in light of what you're saying there in reference to all the cautions, they have had time to go down pit road and work on these race cars. In fact, that 04 machine, remember, the front of that race car was just all jacked up and pretty much back to normal, just how you would expect to see the front of that Dark Horse Ford Mustang. As Porter works in that fourth place position. What a recovery drive for that 04 machine.
We got the 86 and the 66. Looks like he's making his way up here. Driver from Japan. That sounds like a American name, unless he's given himself a American name. You don't really see a lot of foreign people driving NASCARs. They tend to stick with the sports car stuff, which makes sense. NASCAR is American sport, kind of, more than anything else. So kind of cool to see a Japanese driver. There are 2 Aussies in here. So, no, 3 Aussies. That's not New Zealand. Yes, that's no. Is that that might be New Zealand's flag. Hold on. That is New Zealand.
Pearson.
Yeah, 3 of them.
Neil Pearson, one of those drivers. In fact, it is Monday morning over there early. I think like 6, 7 a.m. if I remember correctly when I was stationed in that time zone. So Pearson, he is kicking off his Sunday morning. We're racing these guys here, the U.S. in prime time on our side of things. Kobe Stent there in that 66. Remember, he had his hands full just not very long ago. Runs in second. Going back through the field, there's Matt Long in the 28 machine.
We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 drivers who are out right now. It's just damage is too great for their cars to continue. Stent looks like he's gaining. They're running 14.8s right now. Lap time, so you can see it on the left side, 14.8s, 14.7s, 14. It looks like 14.8s, 14.7s is what it is going to basically come down to. And I think Stent has hurt that right front enough to where he cannot turn anymore.
He's starting to almost flirt with a 15 flat. So yeah, you're right there. That drive, that turn in, especially the center, starting to go away from the 66. The high side of the racetrack should be able to clear him, and does here.
So
66 now going to pull back up in line.
Went back up to that high line. Went down to the bottom line. I was like, yeah, it's not going to work after he's burned it off like he has, and it didn't, which I'm not surprised. We have Stoney Benefield is around 78 car. Then you can see Hixenbog didn't mean to turn him. He was getting off the brake, and you can see that he was getting off the gas, and he did not spin him around fast. So that wasn't a on-purpose turn. But they have 190 laps left. These laps have been taken off here pretty fast. They started at 8:35 is when they may have got the green here, I believe, for them.
Yeah, you hit the nail right on the right on the head. Looking at my race notes, 8:35 green flag.
Let's see who comes down pit road. Does anybody come down pit road? Is a better question. You can maybe do it and get away with. Nope, didn't mean to do that. This is definitely going to benefit Heitman. 100%.
Sure.
Heitman's coming down. There's no way he's staying out. His tires are so cooked. It'd be dumb for him not to.
Yeah, he was holding on for dear life there.
Yeah, so this will be like 36 laps on tires too. So we'll just have to see how these pan out for him. I do expect at least one more pit stop, at least one. Sorry, your itchy ear, man. Headset, I gotta take my headset off for a minute. There we go.
Hiller continues to lead here. Like that 10 machine, for the most part, has been pretty darn good over the course of this race. Especially when that, I know air usually doesn't play too big of a factor here, but that car really seems to excel when he is out in front. And that's exactly where he is right now. Cook, I mean, up 20, not up 12, 22 positions. And a very similar story for the 66 behind on stint, up 20. So a lot of big movers here at the very front of this field.
Got some guys that are out, so that's why you saw that camera kind of stop panning throughout the field. If y'all ever watch a stream, you see that the camera kind of like pauses in one place. It's either because the driver's not loaded into the session, or because they're out of the session. That's just what happens. So if that ever happens, or if it goes to a random blimp, that is the biggest thing. When it goes to a blimp, that means we've got some disconnections happening. You're like, well, this sucks.
Again, while we're under caution here, Bryce's graphics went out on him earlier in the race. Now it's my turn, so I'm going to step inside and try to get these fixed here on my end.
Looks like Storm's giving us a lot of issues, even though it's not internet related, it's just graphics related. I wonder if it's where my PC's sat for probably 3 or 4 days or something like that. But it normally is never like this. But you should be able
same here,
to get
not
it
to
fixed.
this degree.
Yeah, I've never had it. I had it freeze up when I had a bad RAM stick, but not like that. But pace car will pull in here as the green flag is in the air. We are back underway here. Miller will lead them back to green, lap 3:15 of 500, and the 61 goes into the wall here. Might have been put in the wall by the 66. Not completely sure though. These guys behind him are kind of stacking up here. The 11, the 04. 04 looks like he's got a brand new car almost. He's got that much damage fixed on it. So we got somebody apologizing to Neil for something. I don't know if y'all can hear that still, but
Yeah, that was, I recognize that voice. That was Nolan Hodson. That's going to be driver of the 12. Heard the common denominator again.
oh Lord, again, it squeezed on the outside. The 66 wheel, he was not letting him get that position easy on him at all. He said, hey, you're going to have to take it from him if you want it. He wanted it pretty bad there. That 66 is still going to try to hold this position.
Yeah, that's a great way to use your tires, battling just like you're seeing right here between the 66 and the 86, or excuse me, the 98 out there on the racetrack. Oh, that Toyota got loose. He bobbled once, bobbled twice. And now the Ford machine's gonna, or Porter's gonna try to follow him right on through. And does. And it's, you know, this is Bristol. When you get overtaken like that, or you have to just burp the throttle a little bit as we go on board here with Porter. You know, you're lucky if only one car gets past you. Sometimes it's 2 or 3, if not more.
One thing with this track too, it's kind of a rhythm track, and it's honestly, you're just listening to the car more than anything else. You just find that braking zone, and it's just, you become one with the track. That sounds like a hippie thing to say. I mean, but you really do. You get so used to, hey, this car's going to turn here, it's going to turn here, it's going to turn here, and you just realize that I have to get into a rhythm, and especially when you run into lap traffic, it can mess with you. Like, it's more apparent at tracks like Martinsville, some road courses, it can mess with you. Richmond, Richmond's a big one in my opinion. That's a pretty big one there. As 61's still going to run that high line.
Yeah, he has really been committed upstairs here. Set up shops on board with him tonight. Good looking paint scheme on that race car as well, as he resides in that second place position. Everyone chasing Miller. It's Miller time at the front of this one here at Bristol.
Yeah, I'm just kind of looking at his line. He's getting up a little bit higher in the corner than Miller is. He's really letting that car turn off that high line. He's going to get a run down. That's what I'm noticing with him, is he's taking it a lot higher than everybody else. Everybody else is kind of running a little bit off the wall. I'd be a little bit cautious if he's getting in there kind of deep and cooking the right front, is one of the things I could think that he could be doing, that he's got to be pretty careful with. Because if he's cooking it, then you're going to see it here is at 66. He's been running a little bit lower here on the 61, and he's going to get back to that inside of him. What time is it in Japan?
It's still going to be Sunday, probably mid-morning if I had to guess.
It is 11:25 a.m. Sunday, so he's about near lunchtime. That's if he is still in Japan. I get a little bit curious. I kind of like seeing some foreign drivers just because it's cool to see other people think NASCAR's awesome, not just some dumb redneck hick sport like they would think most of the time, to be honest with you.
No, I agree with you on that. I love to see the diversity throughout the field. As you mentioned, we got some drivers here from Australia, New Zealand, Japan. We're representing a lot of countries here in the full-length Cup Series.
For the one, he's working his way up here. That's Dustin Hall. He's been really quiet the whole entire night. Other drivers that have been quiet, let's see. Haven't talked much about Gitter at all. We saw him a couple of times, but he's not been his normal self, running up front. He's just been calm, quiet, doesn't really have any damage on that car yet. Now he'll probably get some that I just said that, but that's just how he's been the whole entire night. Trying to get around Kyle Amon.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Gitter's usually a big part of, from the competition standpoint. He usually gets a lot of screen time, and we talk about him usually a lot here in these races, but tonight either the balance on that race car is off, not quite to his liking, or he's trying to just take it easy. And as you mentioned, that car looks basically showroom brand new still. And he's trying to keep it clean until it's time to turn the wick up. So perhaps we'll mention him, and we'll see more from him as this race progresses. And don't look now, Bryce, but we're already working lap 358 of the 500. And under green flag conditions, these laps will continue to bleed off here quick, fast, and in a hurry.
See this 10 still holding off the 66, but that 66 has gone to the high line here right now. He's just rolling it.
Ooh, did you see that wiggle out of Hall?
Did not. I was too focused on that 66 there. He must have probably gotten really
Big time death wiggle out of the one. I thought for certain he was going to go pay the fence a visit, but he got control of that car back at the last second.
Just have to hope that these guys can keep it up under them right now. Hall looks like he's going to work that bottom line. That's one thing, working that bottom line, you can kind of realize, hey, you can save some tire, working that bottom. It's maybe a little bit slower on the start of the run, but it comes down as the run goes on. And you can see he's drawn even closer to that 66. He's having to wait to get on the throttle even more, and he's just drawing further and further and further. Now Miller's going to have to deal with some traffic up in front of them right now currently. See how he can sort through it. He gets through the 78 played a pick for the 1. Let the 1 through. Now he's got to go chase down Miller here.
Yeah, and just up the road of the leader, that's Miller there in the 10, currently your leader. And that's hard to believe. Carl Dotson, he was in the storyline here in the earlier going. He was up there contending for the lead. And here he is potentially about to go a lap down.
See the 1 and the 10. Dotson might play a factor here if he kind of plays a little bit of a block, aero block wise for Miller. It's like he's staying pretty far out away from him. The 1, he's going to continue to work that bottom line. He's going to get to the inside of Miller here. Hall looking on him.
Yeah, the 1's going to peek his nose inside. They're going to go side by side here through the corner. In the long, oh, he got loose coming off the corner there. Had to catch it down the racetrack. That's going to allow the 10 of Miller now to come back on the high side. However, just as I say that, the 1 is now going to clear. So change for the lead here on lap 348. And you know, Carl Dotson was loving that side-by-side racing, as that kind of prevented him from going a lap down there, at least for the in the short term. But now he is about on the verge of going a lap down. That 1 car has really come to life here the longer this run continues. And in fact, he is there now challenging the 91 there. Keep committed to the bottom. That lane seems to be really working for Hall. A little bit of a wiggle there. But tell you what, Dodson is not going away quietly. He is like Ryan Newman on the racetrack right now, giving everything he has to stay on the lead lap.
Tell you what, being at the race too, some of the hardest cars to pass that I kept noticing was Daniel Suarez and Todd Gill. And they were the hardest cars for Larson to pass the whole entire night. I don't know if it was just the track, but it was ridiculous watching them trying to get around him. I mean, they were just a pain. No matter what Larson did, they were fighting so hard. And even when Larson was multiple laps down, when Suarez was multiple laps down, it was just ridiculous trying to get around him there.
Yes, some drivers, I mean, they are well known for being hard to pass, especially when they're on the lead lap. And, you know, it's kind of a badge of honor they wear. And you're right. I seen that here when I was watching the broadcast at home. Those two guys were just extra difficult for Larson, you know, to find a way around them on the racetrack. But he really made, I mean, those drivers really made him work for it. Kind of like how we just seen Dodson, you know, make Dustin Hall, the leader, work for it to get around him on the out. Oh my God! Now I can't talk around him on the racetrack. Is Hall starting to walk it out on Robert Miller as that lead is suddenly approaching the 0.7 of a second range.
See, Avila looks like he is about to be lapped here. And I would think you would maybe hit one more time because they took green with 180 something to go, I believe, is when they took the green there. So I think they will have to come down.
179 laps remaining.
I was close to it, so what do you want to pit is the question mark. I mean, they've fallen off about 0.4, 0.5 of a second.
Dustin Hall's fastest lap of the race was a 14.49. His last lap was a 15.22. And taking another driver inside the top 10, go with Matty Long, who currently runs third. His best lap was a 14.41. Last time by a 15.42. So some of these drivers have actually fallen off a second.
You guys have not done a bad job so far here tonight. I super close on fuel is what Anderson just told me. That's what I thought. I thought it would be close on fuel. I knew they could maybe try to make it, but I just don't know if the tires will hold up. I mean, they're not dropping off incredibly fast. And Miller's actually not letting them get away from it at all. We got a big gaggle of cars right here. The 68, the 63, 66, 11, 62. All on top of each other trying to get around these lap cars and
Yeah.
trying to sort through everything.
Yeah, I mean, you could pitch a blanket over these guys. That's how close together they are on the racetrack. Dotson off the lead lap there. He's not racing for position, at least right here with this group of cars. Oh, that 66 continues to get scary loose coming up off the bottom, especially off of 4. And in fact, they almost had contact between the 63 or the 83 and the 66 there, Bryce.
Guys, this guy, I know that probably Hall does not want to see it. Miller might not mind seeing a caution as they're about to go 3 wide here, and the 63, there he goes. I think he's going to stay out of the way of him, though, but he got really, really loose. That's not the car. Where is he at? The Villa. There he is.
That car got even.
See, look at this. I don't know if y'all can see it on the stream. Might be a little bit too pixelated, but you can see, at least from my point of view, you can see the rubber pellets that have formed up on that wall. They are all around the track, especially off the exit of the corner is where they really are. Just straight up just coating that part of it. But there's not really any on the bottom. That's even heavier there. Let's see if I can get a cockpit view. There you go. You can see it. You can't really see it there, but coming off the corner, really even going into the corner, there are just pellets everywhere. Just pure rubber being taken off those cars.
Yeah, that's a great point there, Bryson. All those marbles, those rubber pellets up there near the fence. You get into that race car is gonna not react well. It's gonna make that car plow, get really tight on you, or depending on where you get into it, can make you snap loose coming off the corner. The last thing you want to be is in those marbles here, especially with the amount of laps we have on these Goodyear Eagles right now.
If you ever hear it called jumping the cushion on ovals, that's getting up in the marbles and all that crap that's up there in the high. Now, if you jump the cushion at a dirt track, you get up into the kind of I think it's the softer stuff that you really shouldn't be up there. You want to be right on the edge of it. That's where the most grip is. But as soon as you step over it, it'll grab you and pull you back super, super hard. So you got to be super careful with it if you do decide to do that.
Driver, as Bryce just said, if you jump over that cushion, you'll know quick, fast, and in a hurry. And in fact, the 11 at times here is flirting with that line. Neil Pearson as well. In fact, caution on the racetrack here. May have went bad here for the 63, who was working the high side of the racetrack.
Has to be on exit then here. Oh, yeah, as soon as we're talking about jumping the cushion, I think this might be brake bias, though.
Boom, there it is.
This might be brake bias. I don't know. It came around. This might be brake bias or jumping the cushion because it looped, but I mean, he's close to it. That may have been the cushion here, but we were just talking about that. Look at how quickly, and there goes the rear end. The rear end's gone. It's going around on him. He's up in the marbles. Rear tires are all in it. He's going to have zero grip. Locks it down up against the wall. Gets back rolling there, but that's just what happens. This will probably bring, this is going to bring everybody down pit road. Hall, you want to get a good pit stop here for these guys. Do not want to be having a bad one here at all.
Now, this pit stop here, you have to execute, no mistakes. You know, getting down to the later part of this race, you know, that time for having miscues on pit road is long gone out the window. Jimmy Strong Machine inside of his pit box, receiving service on that race car for Goodyear Eagles. Going to be the call here. 2 cans, Sunoco Racing Fuel going to fill that up. Fuel no longer going to be a part of the equation. You see is down and away. Good pit stop there by that Chevrolet Camaro. Matty Long getting it done on pit road there in the Ford.
Liquid
All of a
death
sudden,
car.
he is in this race now. Matty Long in that P2 position, furthest up the scoring pylon. He's been, I'm pretty sure, all race long. Robert Miller in third. There's Hicksonbaugh now in fourth. And look at Patrick Gitter, just outside the top 5 in that 6th place position. Here comes the getter.
It looks like he's gotten almost no damage on that car. It looks like that's the main theme tonight is just don't have damage on it. As long as you don't have damage, you should be fine.
I mean, outside of all the rubber and, you know, just the buildup of being out there for 377 laps, that car is pristine.
Pick the outside here.
It's like Hall's taking the outside, apparently. As no, it looks like he's taking the inside. It will have. I was gonna say they'll have a little bit more than 120 to go. 121 when they grab the green flag here before they hopefully, maybe, possibly get this back to the last stretch here. Who knows at this point? Pace car will pull in here. Starter has the flag in his hand, and the green flag is back out. We are back underway here. Hall gets a good jump on the field, out and away from everybody right now currently.
Hall gets a great restart, but the 28 and the 10, they are battling really hard right now for that second place position. Hall trying to edge out these two drivers that are being very fierce just behind him. That Camaro going up against two Fords. Miller going to take a peek on the inside. That's going to cost him a little bit of momentum. That's going to give the high lane there to Matty Long a little bit of advantage. He's now going to clear the 10 off the corner, and he's going for the 1. As he's going to send it in top shelf where Mama hides the cookies. It's a drag race going down the start-finish line.
Ford versus Chevy. Really old tail, and it looks like it's going to be the Ford who gets it right now. But Hall, if he stays disciplined to that bottom, I think he'll have the better long-run speed because he was staying disciplined to it earlier, and you could see it work dividends as the run went on. So if he just does that, he should be completely fine. As if he does do that, because some guys will get a little bit antsy, like, I'm tired of saving tires. I want to get up to the front right now immediately as we have a caution out for Kyle Amon. And see what happened to him.
He's going to be that 17 on the high side of the racetrack here.
Just loops it on his own.
Coming off the restart there. We see this earlier in the race, too, with cold tires, and gave it a little too much zest, and around she went.
Yeah, it's just looks like it was just an issue with just the car wanting to step out. Something just happened to it there. That's just kind of odd. I don't think anybody will come down pit road looking at the power outage map right now currently. Excuse me for a minute. There's no way they have gotten all that power back. If they have, that is amazingly fast work.
That'd be a miracle.
Well, I'm looking. I mean, they did have crews come down from other states to fix it, but they've it says they've got all the power in Damascus restored pretty much almost. There's a couple of sections that don't have it, but they do. That's absolutely amazing if they got that done. You know, they were possibly bringing a generator to my work because I work at a grocery store. They were already going to have a lot of loss in produce because we had the power go out, so it's not going to be good for us.
Pretty sure when all is said and done and they start calculating, you know, the damage, this is certainly going to be a storm that goes down in the history books. I think it's definitely going to be on the all-time top 10 most costly hurricanes that have impacted the U.S. And Bryce, I don't know if you've seen, the National Hurricane Center, I'm not kidding, has another 40% hatch area over the next 7 days for another storm to form. It could potentially take a very similar track to what we just seen.
Well, the whole thing with this area is it's weird because like we've had storms like this before. I mean, it wasn't like it was, you know, pouring down for days. It was like one day of decent rain, and then I mean, I just didn't expect this to happen. I mean, in Tennessee, there was almost a section that they thought the dam was going to give out. It's just like this area just was not prepared for something like this because it's just not common. Why be ready for this? So I mean, that's why there's so much damage here right now currently.
You would.
Trying to listen to the radio chatter we got here. Someone was saying I blew it. I guess they made a mistake or something there, possibly. I don't know for sure, but somebody's talking on the chat.
Talked about heat cycling on the tires earlier, so here's another heat cycle right here. These drivers recently down pit road, put 4 Dr. Feelgoods on it, took the green flag, just about got him up to temperature. And then we slow things back down. Lights out on the pace car. That means we're going back to the rowdy side of things here, this time by.
These guys get going here. There'll be 111 laps left at this track, so see how these guys will go right now currently. As green flag is in the air, we're underway here, and he just got a huge shot off the corner there.
Matty Long's got a Nissan GTR with 1,000 horsepower and all-wheel drive underneath the sheet metal of that Mustang. That was an impressive restart.
Speaking of that, we'll talk about GTR later. If you want to talk about horsepower, I got a story for you. But these guys are going at it behind them. Hixenbach, who's worked his way back up front. He's been really quiet. You see Gitter there again. Looks like guys that are up here have little to no damage almost. It's got to be the common theme is just keep your car clean.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing, too, a lot of the drivers that we really tend to talk about that we haven't a lot in this race. You mentioned it earlier. Patrick Gitter now suddenly in 5th. Hixenbaugh now up to 3rd. Neil Pearson, he's had a rough race. He's been spun around, bent over backwards. He's back inside the top 10 in 6th. So this race far from over. Matty Long going up against Dustin Hall here. And I'll tell you what, Bryce, you were right. The longer that one car runs, the better he gets. As I almost got spooked there. Someone on the radio was betting, and that almost blew my eardrums out. It was so loud. I can't figure out where it's coming from, but nonetheless, I had an earful there. Here comes Gitter on the high side of the racetrack. He had that 21 wound up.
Also, a little bit of contact there with Miller, but it looks like it's no harm, no foul there from those two. It appears to be. But he's going to get that spot there. He's going to look to Hixenbach's outside if he can just get it, and he's got it now. So he's going to power around. You can see that just put the pedal to the metal there. He just got a ton of grip coming on it.
Yeah, that 21 car is really coming to life here in the late going, right when you want it to. I mean, that ZL1 Camaro has some serious drive in it right now. That car is ripping through these corners. And you're not seeing that car bobble or move. I mean, it's like a slot car out there on the racetrack. Is suddenly now you have Dustin Hall, Matty Long, Patrick Gitter, 1, 2, 3. So we've seen Dustin Hall, be up here towards the front here now for a little bit of duration, but now you have some new challengers coming into the picture in Matt Long and Patrick Gitter. Let's see how the one responds to their challenge here as Hall continues to lead.
So these guys just continuing to go at it. Hall is running 14 fives right now currently. So he's running the fastest laps on the track. He could probably get away with slowing down the pace just a tad, but not a lot. Just have to see.
Yeah, we're now under 100 laps remaining too. As Gitter continues to charge towards the front here now, going up against the 10.
See Miller's utilizing that high line to get around him, and he will do that there. The 11 continues to roll it.
Yeah, Ryan Jones here going to get around Gitter. In fact, he's going to slide back to 6 here. Friendly friendly driver behind Gitter there. There's Neil Pearson. They spend a lot of time racing around each other on the racetrack. But up here, it is starting to get really hot and heavy. Is Matt Long now under siege here from Miller and soon to be Jones in the 11.
And we'll probably see the tire saving pay off probably at lap 425, 430 is when you'll begin to see the benefits of them. Just depends though. These guys are just wrapping that bottom. Some are running a little bit higher off than I would run. I'd be trying to wrap it like really, really tight, but these guys are just finding, if you can find speed down there, go ahead and do it. I mean, it can't hurt you at all there, not one bit, so. Oh, looks like someone's gonna get to the bumper.
Chrome horn surprise.
And you got a bumper, you can go ahead and use it if you need to there on some of these guys.
You don't want to use it too soon because once you deploy the chrome horn, you let that other guy you administer it to get back to you. It's going to come back to you. That's the other thing these drivers have to keep in mind as well.
Yeah, that is true. And kind of like, it's the unspoken rule to a certain extent. It's like, if you use the bumper, kind of, I'm thinking of a different game. We kind of had a rule, if you use an auto, you break the auto something, you pay the auto price, which is an automatic rifle. And it was always a sin. Do not buy that weapon, because if you do, that means the other side can buy it. And when somebody did it, it was like, all right, we can buy it the rest of the game now because you did it. That's kind of with bumping somebody. It's like, all right, you bumped me. Well, guess what I can do now? I can bump you too. So, sorry, but deal with it now.
I mean, in real life racing, how many times have we seen that, done prematurely or too soon, and they get it right back? And sometimes on the last lap, or heck, coming out of turns 3 and 4. I mean, that rule that holds true right here on the sim side of things, right here in iRacing as well. Is Matty Long and Dustin Hall, even the 10. I mean, these guys are literally right on top of each other, putting up literally almost the same lap times. Matty Long was a 49 to a Miller 91 and a Hall 01.
I would almost want to be kind of the 11 or even the 92. 92's been quiet the whole entire night. He can maybe steal something. You see Neil Pearson also working his way back into this at the same time. He's been really quiet. He was up here up front, though. Had that good save as he had like 3 netcode events that cars were literally not anywhere near him. Must be that New Zealand internet or something that decided to say, hey, I don't really care about you anymore. I'm just going to bring you right around.
Yeah, he had some moderate amount of damage to that 62, but all of these cautions have allowed him and a lot of the other drivers to make repairs to these race cars, and they are driving a heck of a lot better. Because Pearson now owns that 5th place position. And he is not far off the back of Ryan Jones, who owns that 4th place position just in front of him.
Looks like we got the 11 for that position, like you said. Hall's falling back a little bit. I would almost wonder if Hall's saving his tires and not going aggressive on it.
That last run, and you pointed it out, the longer Hall ran, the better, that car got. Matty Long continues to enjoy about 2 to 3 tenths of a second advantage over Robert Miller. Here comes the 11, really starting to challenge the 1. Don't look now, but Pearson's right there lurking.
Still is just going to ride this line right now. He's doing a good job. I don't know. I'd be nervous about this if I were him. You got less than 80 laps to go. You know you need to get these tires to the end of it.
Yeah, a lot of different strategies, a lot of different thoughts probably going through these drivers' head, especially, you know, Matt Long leading this thing, trying to figure out what's going to go wrong, what's going to take this potential win away from him. But, you know, to your point earlier, he's in that moment. He's got the rhythm. He's got that vibe going. And he's putting together really good laps out here on the racetrack. You know, still continues to be the second fastest car out there on the racetrack, faster than everyone else inside the top 5. In fact, last time by, he was a 15:01. Miller was a 15:02, and then Dustin Hall 15:16. And a lot of those other drivers are within that realm inside the top 10. So Matt Long's doing exactly what he needs to do. He just has to be able to maintain that pace and, as you said, keep those tires alive to make it to the end.
If I were him, I'd honestly go back to the bottom, start braking earlier, letting the car just roll, saving that right front tire to leave it to, if you need to later on in the run, you know, you can lean on it and use it. But the way he's running, I think he's still doing that. He's still running kind of a little bit of a middle line. I wouldn't do that. That's just, again, that's just me, though. It just depends on who you are as a driver. Looks like he's doing pretty fine with it right now, though. That car, he's probably got some brake bias, other stuff that he's changing. That's one thing that can change during the race while they're driving, especially. That can do a lot to the car. With
that brake bias can help you a lot more than, you know, sometimes what people may think, especially in this car. Now Matt Long, that interval is going to continue to grow over Robert Miller. In fact, sometimes you can get a glimpse of the 10 coming into the frame. But now as that interval works to almost 0.7 of a second, you know, that's going to allow the pressure, the intensity inside of that cockpit of the 28 to come down just a little bit, that he's getting some breathing room. He's not having to look up in his mirror as frequently and see where Miller is, if he's gaining ground on him, because it's going the other way right now. Matty Long is quicker. Pretty big battle on the racetrack, though, still continues to be for that second place position. In fact, we are 2 by 2, side by side here. Clayton Hoffman continuing to make some noise there in the 92. He runs in 7th.
Yeah, they've all managed to kind of stack up behind the 1 here right now, and that's just one thing. If you can't get past him, it's just one of the most painful things. It's like, I can't get by this dude. I don't know what to do about it, as the 1 and the 11 are looking there right now currently. The 86 and the 92, these guys are going to be stuck. Oh, Gitter gets a little bit loose. He's going to save it, though, back there. The chase down the track. Looks like he might have had some contact from somebody. I could hear somebody chime up on the mic, say, I'm sorry. So I guess contact was made with somebody. We just didn't really see it there.
Yeah, I heard the contact in the headset. I just, we didn't see it, but clearly, moment out there for Gitter. Like, car was coming to the front. Maybe he used his stuff up a little bit. Now Gitter outside the top 10 in that 11th place position. And Matty Long, like his last name says, doing really good on the long run. Is he's now almost out to a 1 second advantage.
You can see Jones got around Hall, and he's ran away with it right now. He's just said, hey, I'm just going to check out. Y'all can deal with him behind this. So Hall, I think his car is just, it's not handling the way that he wants it to, and he's on the same set of tires. Joseph has the freshest tires, but again, he has that front end damage, though, pretty heavily. But I don't think it's tire damage. It looks like it's more of just really in the nose than anything else, so...
Yeah, that nose, the front valence is certainly kicked up on Joseph's race car. You know, and Matt Long loves hearing the report from his spotter that from second place on back, these guys are in a massive dogfight. Obviously, when you got 2 cars running side by side like that, or multiple cars side by side, they can't turn optimum lap times, and that's allowing, you know, Matt Long to get away as we now get single file up here. There's Neil Pearson, who now finds himself in 3rd. Robert Miller in 2nd. However, that allowed Matt Long to get away. So now the 10, the 62, and virtually everyone else. They're going to have to push to go up there and gain that ground back on Matt Long. So a lot of different factors, a lot of different things have to, work in your favor now, because to your point about the tires, you're going to have to get them, uncomfortable. You're going to have to work them harder. Those temps are going to come up, and a lot of things can start to go away from you with the balance of the race car when you start to push it. But, hey, we're running out of time here, and you can't hold back right now.
Yeah, I just have to see if you can... I mean, you can maybe say for... I don't know. This is the point where you want to push, but you're also trying to save. You're trying to get into a rhythm to where, I know that the car will last, but I know I can also make lap time, and that's really hard. Oh, Lord. And we got a caution out here.
No!
Oh, the 04 is around. Cody Porter, who had just fixed his damage earlier.
Rest of the fucking league, most people will not run after that crap. Everybody go watch that.
Somebody is furious.
I don't know if you heard that, but...
That ain't no net code. You're a lousy piece of shit. We forgive you.
I think I see what he's upset about. Oh, God.
Yeah, I don't...
That's taking rattling his cage to a whole new level there.
I mean, I don't know if he thought that they were 3 wide. I mean, like right here, they're 2 wide. And he has to know that the 4 is more ahead here.
Has to.
And then he just gets in the corner way too deep. I mean, he's still...
He doesn't even look like he even attempts to make the turn. Maybe he set it in there so hard the car just didn't have any chance of making the corner, but still.
Oh, that's one thing I'm looking at, is I'm looking at his steering wheel. I mean, he's still turning left. But I feel like he could have had more wheel into it, but I think at a certain point, it's just not turning anymore. And I still think that that's just like...
I mean, he's still around backwards, going the wrong way, and then
he got him again.
And he got him a second time. Now, I'm not so sure he meant to do that the second time, trying to get... But I can understand, well, there's some drivers out there right now who are upset.
Zavilla's, for some reason, being labeled as the leader. I don't know why. These guys all came down pit road, though. So, not surprised to see them pit. We'll have about 50 laps on these tires, but that'll be a topic of discussion for sure for these guys.
That hauler is going to be hot after this one's over, in Bristol fashion, of course. Remember Tony Stewart's beautiful helmet throw?
I do. I was early. How old have I been? I may have been maybe 10 years old at that. What year was that? 2011?
It was 2010 or 11.
Yeah, I would have been like 9 or 10 years old when he did that. But I do remember that he threw it right at Matt Kenseth and hit him right in the hood.
Bullseye. I mean, he smacked that car dead center of the hood. I mean, you couldn't have asked for a better shot.
Yeah, me being a Hendrick fan, I remember Jeff Gordon was running a Farmville paint scheme that race is when he was.
The point is, Bristol's doing what it's done for many years and just getting the better of these drivers, and tempers are flaring. Less than 50 laps to go. It's about to get rowdy.
Yeah, well, pace car will pull in here. Sorry, we'll have the flag in his hand as the green flag is back in the air. We are back underway.
Neil Pearson's going to rocket out to the lead here as he's now putting that 62 machine back out into the front late in this race. Don't look now, though. Matty Long is back to that second place position. He was your leader before that caution flag flew. Ryan Jones, Robert Miller, Bryson Hicksonbaugh. That's the top 5 as they run right now. The 28 continues to hold on to that second place position. However, Robert Miller is there. As these drivers inside the top 5 continue to run single file, at least for the time being. Patrick Gitter back up to that 6th place position.
These guys will hopefully, I still think this is where you are saving tires still, because you still got 50 laps left, or a little bit less than 50 laps left. I would not be going super hard yet. I would be realizing, hey, I'm got some time, let's lay off, and 20, start picking up the pace, 10, pick up the pace a little bit more, 5, pick up the pace a lot after that point. That's it. That's if I were them. Just watch Pearson go up in this high line. Again, a little bit more there. He just ran the fastest lap, a 14:29. Hotzema is getting his way back up here. Dotson is out of the race. Some other people are also. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 drivers are out of the race currently. Pearson trying to hold off. You see Jones is coming back on this inside right now, trying to find his way up to second so he can be a little bit closer to that leader. He just wants to be able to talk to him a little bit. Let me tell you something, what he wants to do. You're going to be getting to lap traffic here. Pearson looks like he got the wall just a tad. Pearson and Long right now. Looks like these guys are going to go pretty good on each other. Jones is coming into the picture also. Pearson, I wonder if that car is handling like he wants it to on that high line or not. Truly don't know right now at the moment, but he's holding them off. The 28.62 coming to 34 to go.
Neil Pearson now out in front, up 17 positions. He's got some pace in that Chevrolet. Then you have a Ford. In fact, the Ford's in this cookie sandwich right now. He's in between both those Camaros that run first and second. That's Pearson and Jones in the Camaros. Matty Long going Ford. They're in that second place position. Bryce, he is lurking though and starting to creep back in on the 62 just a little bit.
Yeah, he is getting there, but I think Pearson he's holding him off right now. And the way he's running that high line, he's not doing a bad job either. So we'll just have to see how.
Could be running just hard enough to keep that 62 in front of that 28.
Now they've got 30 laps left here coming to the line. They're running 14.5s pretty much on their lap times currently.
Yeah, and that's not far off of some of these drivers' fastest laps. Neil Pearson was a 14.28, Matty Long a 14.32, and Ryan Jones a 14.30. So about 2/10 off of their fastest laps. So these guys have the wick turned way up right now.
And I feel like you can't just be laying back, or you can't, if you're Pearson, you cannot let Long get in front, because I think the air will just mess with him too much. So Pearson, if Long, we're going to see right now, will he fight him hard here? I'd get down on that. Well, you can't, because that middle line's not going to help him turn. He's going to have to decide to race this car hard. Well, what will the 66 do here? Pearson's going to be able to get clear.
Great heads-up decision there by the 66. He gets down out of the way, but it does cost Long a little bit of time there on the racetrack. 62 was able to gain a tenth there with the lap car. The 66, still, he did a great job getting out of the way. But you're right, Bryce. I mean, Pearson cannot afford to let Long get by him. We know how strong that Mustang is out in front. And that dirty air could be the silent killer for the 62 should that 28 get by.
And one issue they got too is You see that 11 right there, that neon yellow car behind him. If they get to racing, that 11 can just shoot them 3 wide and say, hey, you know, I'm going to take both of these positions from you and just get first because y'all are doing this. What's stopping me from just going right around you?
Well, that's the other point. We've seen how much lap time, you know, how much the pace slows down when they get side by side and you're single file behind them. I mean, you're instantly right in a part of the equation. See some sparks flying there off the 62. He scrapes the wall just a little bit.
See how these guys decide to race each other. Do they do it hard? Do they do it clean? Or do they do what the 04 did? What seemingly looked like putting himself into the wall along with another driver. What it looked like from my point of view, at least.
Yeah, Neil Peterson, Matt Long, they know each other really well. They have a lot of experience racing each other out there on the racetrack. 2 drivers I expect to be very clean and professional, you know, still in a dogfight out there. I've seen these guys put up very respectable racing, you know, during my time up here in the broadcast booth. These guys are very respectful of one another as that Death Wish machine blows us in a little bit more now. He is working just off the business end of the 62.
Yeah, and looking at the qualifying, Neil qualified 18th, so he didn't have a great qualifying run, but he's kept the car clean, got out of the whole junk that these other guys were having to deal with at the same time. He's just done a good job of, you know, just not having to deal with a bunch of stuff at the moment.
He kind of had his time to deal with the exciting extracurricular activities on the racetrack early in this race. Was able to get that car fixed up courtesy of those caution flags. And now, you know, to your point, has kept it clean and stayed ahead of the mayhem. And he has put himself here in a great position, up 17 positions. But should he slip or miss one of these corners, I mean, the 28 of Long is right there to strike.
He's doing a good job so far. 16 to go, and these laps will tick off really fast.
They certainly will. In fact, these front 2 have opened up a little bit of a gap over that 3rd place driver of Ryan Jones now.
Just have to see where will Jones, or can Jones make his move? Can he get enough time to go there? I don't know what he's going to do though.
Yeah, he's running out of time. I mean, we're virtually just about 10 laps to go in this thing. We're going to be working lap 488 right now. Is 62 just went by the start-finish line.
They've both got different lines too. We got the 62 staying up high. Looks like, I think the 28's running a little bit. Oh, he ran a different line that time. He's switching up his line, making the 28 guess behind him. Been a long night too. Been almost 3 hours of racing so far for these guys so far.
Yeah, these drivers are going to feel some fatigue, especially as the technology gets better in the sim world. I mean, these rigs, you know, especially these direct drive wheels, they do a really good job of making you feel, you know, at least through the steering wheel, the foot pedals, of what drivers go through in real life. And, you know, they have to be, you know, hurting just a little bit. It's been a long night here at Bristol, and this track is anything but easy. You barely get a chance to catch your breath. The only time you really get that is under caution conditions here on the racetrack. So I mean, these guys right now, less than 10 laps to go, they are full tilt, giving it 100%. Pearson's starting to edge away from Long just a little bit as he's approaching a half-second margin, or a half-second differential, I should say.
So I've been watching the football game at the same time. There's somebody that I know who was at the game, managed to witness Georgia come down from like 30 points to be leading Alabama with 2 minutes left. Yeah, to be leading Alabama.
That 30 points against Alabama, that, dude, if they win, that place is gonna go wild.
Yeah, the guy that went is that I know is a Georgia fan. My sister's boyfriend went with him also, so that's why I'm watching it, but these guys have been putting on a good show here at the same time. Really, a lot of green flag racing. I think if you had the old cars before this, the Gen 6 cars, they would be a lot more wrecks because, again, these tires have so much surface area that they can grab that you're just not going to see a lot of people being able to put a lot of power down off the corners. Now with these cars, they can, so it's just a big change with them. But I know Pearson, the last thing he wants to see is a caution come out. As long as he doesn't see a caution, he does not care.
Yeah, like Kyle Larson said on the radio, he is doing everything he can, talking about Pearson here, to get to the white flag. In fact, popsicle sticks in the air. Just 2 laps remaining here from the last great Coliseum. Now Pearson is really put Matt Long in the dust over a 1 second. He's over a second ahead in lap 499. 1 lap remaining. We're going to race back to the green flag. Here is the 62 of Pearson. Takes.
Looks like he'll take that white flag here. I don't know if he wanted me to take that there, but in the Kobin James 500, Pearson qualified 18th, and he will come home with the win here at Bristol. The New Zealand native here wins it.
Yeah, thank you, Bryce. My mic cut out there for a second. I thought my connection was going to give out, but Neil Pearson turns on the heat at the right time, able to hold off his buddy Matty Long for a phenomenal performance here, and gets a much-deserved win here at Bristol. Matt Long comes home second, Ryan Jones third, Hicksenbaugh fourth, Robert Miller. That's going to be the top 5. But the man from the land down under is on top here tonight in prime time, as he gets ready to burn the house down, get the rest of the good out of those Goodyear Eagles.
Goes.
Matt DiCiani in the chat saying good win, and rightfully so. You save those tires now, Bryce.
Yeah, go ahead and get rid of them. I mean, you don't need them anymore. You can go and sell them now. Race-winning tires, seems for him. As he will pull it in here. I'm going to get the screenshot very quickly. And we will pull in the top 3 drivers here. Let me get the race results. 00. There we go. So Neil Pearson, Ryan Jones, and Matt Long. Start with Ryan Jones here. Not what I meant to pull up. My Discord is on the wrong screen. So let me bring Ryan Jones in here.
I'll look at everything as always. We'll probably later in the week, not immediately tonight. Watkins Glen in 2 weeks, and then we've got Homestead in about a month. So keep those on your calendar. We'd love to see everybody back out.
Ryan Jones.
Have a good rest of your weekend, guys. Thanks for coming out.
Corey.
Something I think
There he is. We'll bring in Ryan here. Hey Ryan, this is Bryce and Matt in the booth. You got a copy, man?
Yeah, I gotcha.
Man, so you come home third after that long race. You know, how did it go for you overall, though, man? Because it seemed like you had a up and down night, leading at one point, and then having to deal with a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah, it was. I was just looking at the car at the end there. The right front was pretty torn up. So, you know, I think as the night got on, I went slower and slower. Just started plowing through the corners. Couldn't make the right adjustments to fix it, and so yeah, just hanging on. But normally I'd be disappointed finishing second or third, but I'm stoked with that. I think that's a good result. It's such a competitive field.
Now, so did you have to deal with the car taking swings of being loose and being tight, and just a lot of other stuff just being thrown at you at once?
I think it was more just the way the car was changing with the damage. I kept knocking the wall down, which wasn't helping, but a couple of guys wrecked themselves off my nose a couple of times. So it was just trying to get a handle on that while the track itself was getting quicker as well. So yeah, just a tough race to gauge, especially at Bristol. You know, it all happened so quickly anyway. So you're figuring it out as you go.
And so how was the racing overall here? Do you think it was hard to pass, or was it just kind of like we just had to wait for somebody to make a mistake?
Yeah, it was really hard to pass. A few guys seemed to be able to roll the bottom reasonably well to get the overtakes done. I couldn't do that. I had to really use them up to pass them. I think I was stuck behind Dustin Hall for quite a few laps on that second last run, and was a couple corners away from just fencing it because I couldn't get by. But yeah, just it was really tough. The racing overall was pretty good. You know, Bristol's always going to be messy with lots of yellows, but you know, it wasn't too bad.
It definitely seems like it's a good racetrack if it stays green, but when it's not green, it's like, well, this kind of sucks to deal with at that point. But I'm not going to keep you here any longer. Is there anybody you want to shout out? Any sponsors you want to say hey to that may have been watching the stream here tonight?
Yeah, just a big shout out to all you boys put on the broadcast, and always fun to go back and watch. Might be quite a lengthy rewatch though, 500 laps at Bristol. And Bobby for putting on the league. Good to get the MP Designs Chevy up the front, and good to see Neil Pearson winning the race as well. DPR, or Dirty South for the American League though, and South Wilson Hoist and Ben Max Mechanical, and yeah, all the boys for a good race, and Steve as well. He got wrecked out early, but he stayed in there, was sort of coaching me through some of the lines that the others were running, and yeah, it was a big help.
Right, man, well, I will let you go, but good job tonight, man, coming home third.
Cheers, boys.
This is Ryan Jones, the third place driver. We'll bring in the second place driver, and Matt Long. Here he is. Hey, Matt, this is Bryson. Matt in the booth. You got a copy, man?
Yes, sir.
Man, so you come home second. You fall just a little bit short there. You were leading before that last caution came out. But, you know, how did the race go for you overall, though, man? Because it seemed like you had a pretty good run tonight.
Yeah, man, we need to have a chat with my pit crew. I don't know. Nah, I just need to, I need to get better at maximizing pit road. Neil beat me out of the pits there, and I don't know if I would have been able to hold him off. I was a tad snug at the end, but yeah, overall, man, I was loosening up the car a little bit, but it was pretty good. And I want to apologize to Joseph. I got into him, I think, towards the end of stage 2, running the top lane, and got some damage from that, and just kind of rode around, got that fixed up, and then got off sequence with tires on one of those stints, and made my way to the front, and yeah, the car was good enough to stay there. So overall, happy with the second place, and 1-2 for Dirty South Racing. So not a bad night.
So did you see, like, any changes with the track happen that you had to go and say, hey, now I've got to go do this to the car? Or was it pretty much just either tight the whole entire night or loose the whole entire night?
Yeah, it didn't really change balance-wise. I mean, early, before it rubbered in, you know, if you were loose, you were really loose. If you're tight, you're really tight. I was tight. But once it got rubber on it, it kind of neutraled out. But, yeah, it didn't change balance, really.
Definitely seemed like it was. I couldn't really tell because I only ran the fixed stuff, and it was kind of getting like, you can't really do much to it in the fixed. I used to run open a lot at the time. But, you know, how hard was it to pass at this track? Because it seemed like people got to run, and you had to deal with them again. You're like, oh my gosh, this is ridiculous. How would you find to get around somebody?
Yeah, it's really tough, man. I learned the hard way. I only did some testing solo car. I didn't run any races last week. So I learned the hard way really early on. If you get trapped on the bottom when you don't want to be there, saving tire or whatever, like, it's a freight train around the top. So unless you've got a big advantage, like a couple tenth advantage on someone, I feel like you couldn't pass on the bottom. So you just kind of try to look for holes on the top. You know, if someone enters a little low, try to take that space up top. But it's tough. It's definitely tough here.
It definitely did seem tough, man. What was going through your head when that final caution came out? Were you like, oh, you got to be kidding me? Because it seemed like you had it kind of wrapped up there.
You know, I wasn't sure because, you know, I kind of just turned off my relative and stuff and just focused on driving. But it looked like I maybe had a 1.5 second lead over Miller and them. And I was worried I may have burned my stuff up. I don't know. Would we have like 40 to go, 50 to go or so? So, yeah, I wasn't too upset about the caution just because I thought I maybe burned my stuff up. But I guess looking back, like, I had a good enough lead. I probably would have held him off. I just more disappointed I didn't come out of the pits in first. I feel like that was the race right there.
right, man. Well, before I let you go, is there anybody you want to thank? Any sponsors you want to shout out that may have been watching the stream here tonight?
I just want to thank. I mean, you guys put on a great show. I appreciate y'all broadcasting us. It's awesome. And then Bobby's done just such an awesome job setting this league up for us. The competition in this league is awesome. I don't think you can find racing quite like this anywhere else. So, I appreciate all the other drivers showing up each week. And, yeah, just my teammates, Neil, Dyson, who couldn't be here, and Bobby. Thanks, y'all.
All right, man. Well, I will let you go, but good job coming home second tonight, man.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Matt Long, the driver of the 28. We'll bring in the race winner in Neil Pearson right here. Find him. Hey, Neil, this is Bryson and Matt in the booth. Get a copy, man. See, give him a little bit of time here to see if he's got an issue with his headset.
Hey, guys, I got you.
Man, so you come home with the win, man. You know, what was going through your head those final 20-ish laps there at the end?
Once I knew I got Matt in the pit lane, which really surprised me. Just a big shout out to his slow pit crew. I just knew as long as I rode the top line, having the air on my nose and him being tucked up behind me, I knew he couldn't pass, and I knew it eventually scrub out his right front, and then it did, and then I was just like, just no caution. I don't want to do the whole do I take tires, do I don't take tires whole scenario, and the car was just on fire. It was good the whole race. I worked my way up to the front by the end of stage 2, then just got some bad netcode from Ryan, which hurt, but yeah. The car was fantastic, and I knew clean air, it was good.
How hard was it to pass at this track? Because it seemed like it was hard to get around anybody at all.
It's really difficult. If someone can just ride that top line, if you're on the same sort of tire strategy, you can just hold at the top line and there's nothing they can do. If it's going to be like a 100-lap run and it stayed green and you could save your tires at the start, you could move through the pack. But other than that, it's so hard to pass. It's really track position track at the moment. I think we need to get that, was it the PJ1 or whatever it is they put down in real life, and just help that bottom groove out a bit.
And so, did you have to deal with the car swinging from tight or loose to tight, tight to loose? Did you have to make any changes to the car the whole entire night? Because it seemed like I couldn't really tell, just because, these guys the cars looked like they were pretty planted. But how did your car drive?
I knew once the track rubbered up, it would get better. At the start, it was a little loose, especially on exit. I didn't do anything really. I actually loosened it up a little bit on entry just to help out. But other than that, I just didn't touch it, apart from like fuel tank adjustments. The car was just on fire, and I knew it would get better and better towards the end.
All right, man. Well, before I let you go, is there anybody you want to thank, any sponsors you want to shout out that may have been watching the stream here tonight?
Yeah, just first off, Bobby Anderson for this awesome league. Continuing it on from the 100 series last year. There's a really good group of guys here, and I hope it really kicks off next year and for the rest of the year. You guys for the broadcast, my teammates Matt and Bobby again. Matt, I feel bad stealing the win from him, because he really came to life at the end. He overcome some big accidents mid-race, so it was good for him to get second. And Ryan for third, he's part of my Australian team. It's fantastic, Aussies won in third, and even Toby Stent, he's Aussie as well, living in Japan, and he had a really good run going. NP Design, Southwell, Ben Max, Simrigs, all my sponsors, they kill it for us every week. And just a big shame that Andrew Dyson had some computer issues and couldn't make the race this week.
All right, man. Well, I will let you go, but good job coming home with the win tonight, man.
Cheers, guys. I'm so psyched. I love this place. It's my favorite track.
So we got another Kiwi on our side here, but I'll go over over the finishing order. Neil Pearson first, second Matt Long, third Ryan Jones, fourth Bryson Hicksenbog, fifth Robert Miller, sixth Clayton Hoffman, seventh Lucas Hoetzma, eighth Nolan Hodgson, ninth Patrick Gitter, 10th Matt DeCiani, 11th Kyle Amon, 12th Johnny Avila, 13th Corey Cook, 14th Toby Stent, 15th Dustin Hall, 16th Joseph. I tried to say his last name there. 17th Cody Porter, 18th Carl Dotson, 19th Stody Benefield, 20th Derek Heitman, 21st Chad Sanner, 22nd Dakota Knoll, 23rd Hunter Truel, 24th Adam Benefield, 25th Bobby Anderson, 26th Jonathan Delaney, 27th Paul Hill, and 28th was Stephen Williams. Not a bad race overall. Matt, what do you think that we got from that there? We saw some tempers flare, and we saw a foreigner take home the win.
I'll tell you what, I think we've seen everything that Bristol has to offer here tonight. Over 500 laps of competition. We've seen the tempers fly. We've seen the incidents out on the racetrack. And I'll tell you what, they may be from the land down under, but the Kiwis, they were on top tonight. You could hear it in the tone of his voice. Neil Pearson absolutely stoked that he won here tonight. Matty Long's pit crew unfortunately stepped on their air hose on the final pit stop. Something went wrong there. But, you know, in hearing from both those drivers, they both felt like that last caution, that, you know, like that trip down pit road perhaps changed the outcome of the race. And just a brilliant drive by all of these drivers. Bobby, for all the work he does putting on this league. And then got to thank you for being up here in the booth with you. Always enjoy these broadcasts with you.
I'm not going to keep you all here any longer, so I will let you all go. Hopefully we will see you tomorrow.